And good evening, and welcome to a very special episode of Endless Banter. This is episode 40. This is going to be the second last show before Christmas. So we've got this show this week, and then on the 19th, we're going to be doing a show which is next Wednesday. I've got some plans for that Paul doesn't even know about. We're going to do some madness next week, next Wednesday. So welcome to the episode. I've not got the chat box up, but welcome, Paul. Good to see you this week, mate. I know you've been busy as hell, but what have you had for tea? What are you vaping? How's your week been so far, and how are you generally feeling?
I'm vaping Bloodsucker 12 back to an hour.
I know you treated yourself to one last week, didn't you?
You know what? It's like I'm not saying the Billy box isn't good because it is exceptionally good, but he doesn't do anything better than that. And I'm carrying around 300 odd quid's worth of mod that I keep dropping and fucking up.
Do you think it's placebo effect that you think because you've used whatever you've used?
Don't get me wrong. It vapes really well. But that vapes really well, and it's $32.99. And I think it could be better. So I might make one. I'm not even joking, mate. I've talked to a company this week about potentially doing something not exactly the same as a Billy box, but something similar, maybe.
Do you think obviously we understand pricing and how expensive stuff is, and it's not any different to what it used to be 2-3 years ago. Billy box, it's still quite expensive. Do you think that it is worth the money, or would you say it's just what people are willing to pay for that device?
You know what? I think that they're exceptionally well made. The DNA chips, in my opinion, are the best chips in the world. And I think when you get to a mouth to lung point of view for something that takes stock coils, there's not much out there to treat yourself.
Yeah.
And actually, for me, it's a really nice going out mod. I used the Morris mod before with the Nautilus tank on it. But that was after I'd been using the AO, and quite honestly, the flavour off this is better than the flavour off a Nautilus, in my opinion. That said, I don't know if it's the way the chimney is on the billet box. The flavour off that's pretty good as well. So it does work. It does work really well. But for just going to work and having it on charge overnight and not having to worry, the only positive to the billet box for an all day carry for me is just being able to slam an 18. I've got 18 650s in the house, I've got 8 650s in my office. If it's flat, I can just bang one in there. But I'm just looking at getting some of the SXKs or the SKXs or whatever. I've been speaking to someone this week. They're expensive as fuck, man. They've got the authentic DNA chip in them. They take.
Yeah, they have one with the DNA, and they also have one with is it an SX chip in it as well? Well, they have the two different ones, don't they?
The SX chip, I think it's a copy chip actually.
Right. And they are expensive retail, aren't they? I bet they're expensive wholesale as well, aren't they?
I mean, genuinely, I've been looking this week, and to get a DNA one, it's probably going to cost me by the time it's shipped and taxed around about 85, 90 quid.
Fucking, that's still expensive.
So that's for me to get them into the UK. So retailing that, the minimum we're going to retail that for is around about 140.
Yeah, and they are going for like 170.
I don't know. I haven't seen.
They're going for like 170. I've seen them go for 160, 170s. Yeah, they're not cheap.
I got quoted. Obviously, the dollar's falling this week bad as well because of that fucking slag Theresa May and all her shitty fucking rat cunt. That was to buy a chunk of them, mate. And to be honest, I can't justify putting a chunk into these mods because they're going to be certain people's cup of tea.
Yeah,
I know lots of people that are dual using the authentic and the SXK version of it, which in some eyes is classed as a clone. In some other people's are saying it's not a clone. For me, it's an absolute one of one clone. But even the clone one is exceptionally well made. The authentic tanks fit it. The authentic bridges fit it. It's got an authentic DNA chip in there.
Yeah,
So
even the doors fit, even like the doors, you
yeah, I
can
mean,
get that.
so I can get all the bridges, I can get all the tanks separate, I can get the rebuildable decks for them separate, I can get doors for them, I can get everything. Um, I can get them made under endless. I can go and just have the doors made, have bridges made, have tanks made. Then I'm thinking, should I just make a mod that potentially takes that tank, but it's not the same mod?
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know, mate. I've just been having a little wobble today, just thinking. I'm just having a think. But
I
again,
think it is quite fancy though, isn't it? As you said before, it's not something I don't think a lot of people at sort of the authentic price of, you're touching 350 quid landed. To me personally, that's something I'd use as like a house mod or a special occasion. It's something I won't box around all day long. So to have something that would be affordable, that would work exactly the same, maybe not exactly the same, but maybe have a little more tweaks and stuff like that to it, it
say if
is
it had a
definitely up
20 watt
there.
700 battery, so it lasted much longer and things like that.
Mm.
That's the sort of thing I'm thinking. Is maybe can we do something similar with a bigger battery? And I've got some ideas anyway. I'm working on some bits and pieces to see whether we can bring out something similar or.
Well, that sort of feeds into the side that one of the subjects I wanted to talk about is obviously like the pod system. It's not necessarily a pod system, but pod systems are mouth to lung. There isn't any pod systems out there that are really made for high VG. So a majority of your pod systems are mouth to lung. From a hobbyist side and also a retailer side, do you sort of feel like, what is your opinion on pod systems on our side of things? Do you think it is with people have moved over to it and use it as a second device, or are people who are in the hobby side predominantly going back to pod systems and mouth to lungs?
I personally am yet to use a pod system that's good.
I think there's good pod systems out there. I just don't think there's anything that works exceptionally well.
Mate, the best pod system I've used is the Cobble,
The best pod system I've used is that.
or that, but actually the battery life shit on it.
Yeah,
So for
yeah,
me, that don't do anything better for me than this. Nothing at
yeah.
all. Flavor's not better. It don't vape better, and the battery shitter.
Mm.
So I don't understand why, if they can fit 2,200 mAh in something that size, why they don't make it slightly thinner, slightly longer, and have a decent pod system. But then I honestly don't get the difference. It's easier for me, mate, to unscrew that and fucking bang 2 mil in that hole,
Yeah.
screw that back in, than it is to take my pod system out, pull my rubber bund out, get covered in fucking liquid, fill up my fucking pod system, slide it back in. I honestly don't understand why they've become such a massive thing.
You mean sort of like being smaller and sort of more discreet and stealthy? Do you think that would sort of like, this is used in a certain situation rather than all day? Do you think something like what you use, the AO box, is something you can use all day? I know you get like a day battery, 2 days battery out of it.
This is quite a stealthy device. It's not big by any stretch of the imagination. It's in my
Mm.
hand there. You can just see the drip tip. I can pretty much hide it in my hand if I wanted to. I ain't even got another pod system around me. In fact, I've got a Zalto. So the Zalto is slightly longer, slightly thinner, slightly narrower, 1,000 mAh.
Yeah,
That's 2,200.
yeah, and there's literally what,
And I
half
know,
an
I
inch
mean,
thicker.
Zalto at the moment is blowing big time, proper blowing. And actually, for me,
I don't like them.
if, if you vape restricted lung, they're fantastic. You vape made to lung, and I have to have the airflow shut off.
Do you not think they're very much like, is it the Lost Vape? I don't know what they're called, but the Lost Vape
Yeah, but
sort
to
of.
be fair, lost vape competes with Zalto.
Right. Is what's bigger battery? Is the Lost Vape's bigger battery? I think it is, isn't it?
I don't think it is. It's a much smaller device, though, smaller than that.
And what Zel2 goes for, like what, 35?
34.99. The lost vape's about 65 quid, something
It's
like that.
about 80
But it's got no, I don't think it's as much as £80.
in some places. I'm sure it's 80 quid.
Yeah, in some places, fucking Zalto's are 50. No, I think it might be 70 quid or 74. No, I don't know, but that's got a DNA chip in it as well. But to be fair, mate, the lost vape is quality. It feels like an expensive mod.
It's all right, Orion in it, Lost Vape Orion. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is for me is it looks exactly like the Zelda with sort of resin doors and or resin panels.
It's actually smaller. It's thinner. It's not as long. It's smaller. I'm not sure what the battery mar is. I think it might only be a 650 or something like that.
I'm gonna find out now.
I might be wrong. It might be bigger, but I don't think it is.
Just gonna go onto their website and have a look. What does the Zelta 2 take coil wise? Because this takes a 0.25 and a 0.5. And to me, that's not mouth to lung.
And so does this.
Is that a 0.5?
Sorry, these are 1.6.
Yeah.
They do a 1.6 and a 0.25 and maybe a 0.5. No, but I mean, mate, that's a 0.6.
But the different styles, aren't there? These coils now coming out, they're like 0.6 and it's classed as sub ohm, but they're not designed like a sub ohm, but they're reading that
No, because they
ohmage.
also do a 0.5 in this, which is a sub-ohm coil.
Proper sub ohm.
Completely different. The bore of the coil's bigger, so the airflow is different coming through and all that sort of malarkey. But now, you know what? The Lost Vape and the Zalta have both got exactly the same issue, in my opinion. And the airflow control shit on it.
Mm.
And on that,
950 mAh battery.
for me to get a motor lung drag on that, I have to shut the air off completely. If I shut the air off completely, there's no real airflow across the coil and I lose the flavour. I get a drag out of it and I get vape out of it, but the flavour just dies instantly on it. But everyone, like Tasha, loves it because she'll restricted lung it.
Right.
Because that's how she vapes.
Yeah, with me personally, with sort of if I'm using a mouth to lung device or something that's meant to be a mouth to lung device, I want a mouth to lung it. I want it to feel that scratch in the back of my throat. I want to feel like it's a cigarette. If I want to blow big plumes and I want to have lung in it, I'm going to go to a mech or I'm going to go to something else.
So much better, man. I don't care.
950 mAh battery is in the Lost Vape.
And what's this out to? Is it 1,000 dead or is it 1150 or something like that?
Let's have a look. Well, this says it's 950 mAh is the Lost Vape Orion is 950 mAh, 45 minutes to fully charge it, 1 amp onboard charging, and obviously you can use the eScribe to sort of mess about with it and customize the screen and stuff like that, which a lot of people did when the DNA's come out, but it's sort of a lost thing now, isn't it, really? Sort of setting it up like that. I'll have a look at what the Zelta is. But I just feel like the mouth to lung, the pod system and the mouth to lung side of things is starting to sort of go towards the hobby side of things rather than to your main sort of, or am I lost in the loop? I may be lost in the loop, but I feel like it's going a lot more towards dual devices. So you're using a mech and you've got a mouth to lung.
Yeah, I think a pod system's just become cool for people that were sub-ohming that decided they want to go back to mouth to lung.
Mm.
Maybe they're not. Maybe they're still dual using. So they're using sub-ohm throughout the day and they're using a pod system. And if I'd done that, I'd probably use a pod system but I'd use something like the fucking Bow or the Jewel or something of that small. Because actually, I love the Bow. The airflow is good on it. It's small. I had the carry case, so the battery was good on it. Fucking 1.2 mil of liquid was lasting me a good shit.
The Zelta is 1,000 mAh, bang on, 1,000 mAh.
So on that basis, for the size, the 950 is much better in the Lost Vape because it's considerably smaller. The thing, and it feels weighty.
Yeah.
It feels well made. It feels like 70 odd quid's worth of mod. This feels, if I'm being honest, even compared to this, for the same money, it feels cheap.
Yeah.
And they are cheap. I mean, I know that the wholesale price on these is reasonable, and actually, to be fair, he's give a good margin throughout the. So I'm not slagging this in any way, shape, or form because I know the geezer that makes it, and I'm really chuffed that it's booming for him. But it is what it is. That said, I think this is probably one of the best pod systems on the market at the moment for what most people that are full sub-ohming and then using one of these are probably restricting it in anyway.
Mm.
Mate, Tasha's got a Morris mod on her today. She's at the shop. She's got a Nautilus 2 on it. and I watch her, and she long hits the fucking Nautilus too, and not proper mad, but it's just the way that she vapes, and actually she'll be there, and I'll just see she always gets more vape out of a mod than I do. Like when we're using this type of mod, and actually I
Yeah.
watch her some days, and I'm thinking, how the fuck is she getting a cloud out of that like that on a mouth to lung? But actually, she's lung hitting it.
Do you think that's because of the way she's vaping, or just that's how she feels comfortable vaping
She's
it?
just got used to doing that because she always subhomes. She's always, if she's not got a mouth to lung on her, she's got a sub tank on her, or she's got a dripper on her.
Let's have a see what chat's saying. So people are saying best mouth to lung tank are the Zenith and the Nautilus too, which we can't deny the fact that the Nautilus was released three years ago. I would say over 3 years ago. And
Nautilus, probably a couple.
well, no, the Nautilus in itself, even
Nautilus,
like the Nautilus Mini.
the Nautilus dropped when I first started, mate.
Oh, so it's fucking ancient, 5-6 year old, then, isn't it?
For the big Nautilus, and I would say at least 4 years old for the mini Nautilus. And for me, the mini Nautilus, not so much the mini Nautilus, the vertical coil was so much better. It was a dual coil, weren't it? It was a dual coil in there.
Well, it was a normal one, it's standard, and then they brought the BBC out with the Nautilus Mini, didn't they? They brought it, they dropped it with the Nautilus Mini.
Yeah.
For me personally, yeah, it definitely was down to the coil, and the technology in that coil changed it totally. But that is probably still, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this is probably the most manufactured coil on the market is the BBC.
It's got to be, mate, because they've never changed it, and every tank they've done since
has got that coil.
And I said last week about, or the week before when Kevin about, I've just got the standard Aspire BVC in my one billet box, and I've got the Nautilus in the other. And honestly, I prefer the standard BVC coil.
Mm.
That said, the vertical coil in the Nautilus coil is a quality coil. It is quality.
Do you think it goes back to where they're looking at it and saying, "Oh, we don't need to change it because it does what it does"? You know, you've got all these people. Like, for instance, it's just an example. Like Smock, when they released the TVF range of tanks, they had like fucking 10 to 12 different coils.
Fuckers they are. When we opened our shop, we had a Kangatech
sub tank. The sub tank.
No, mate, there weren't even a sub tank when we opened the shop. We had mini pro tank. We had the uni tank come out, which was the top fill fucking spring contraption bullshit thing that actually, when you got it working, was really good, but you'd have to fuck about with it to stop it. I mean, I used the uni tank for a long time just because it was easy to fill. You had the pro tank, you had the pro tank 2, then they brought out the aero tank with airflow control on it, but they all took the single coil or the dual coil was exact. In fact, I'm telling a lie, on the Pro Tank 3, which was dual coil, they bought out, it had a stubby neck on it.
It was still, but they're still the same barrel that they were all in, though, weren't they?
Well, no, yeah, but it didn't work on that one tank. They bought out another coil and then they quickly went away from it, and then they bought out the aero tank, and it went back to the same stem, the same fitting, the same screw. So when I opened the shop, I used to sell mini Pro Tanks, Pro Tank 2s. I never ever stocked. I did stock a Pro Tank 1, but by the time we opened the shop, I only stocked Pro Tank 2s. Then we had the Pro Tank 3, which fucked off very quickly, and actually the Aero Tank dropped straight after. And the Aero Tank for me and the Mini Aero Tank were wicked tanks. We had the the Nautilus, and then we had probably things like iClear 30B, iClear 30S.
Yes.
Again, both good calls, but the 30B used to leak like a broken fucking fridge. The 30S was quality and actually still the same style of call that they use in all the latest Innokin stuff with that, like a
really tall one, yeah.
C5 style one where it's actually wadded and it soaks through. But we like our main run of coils was 1.8 Kangatech, single and dual coil. We had 1.8, in fact 1.8, and they've done a 2.1.
Yes, they did. So did the Inikin, the iClear 30S coils were also in the 2.1 as well.
So, but in Inikin, I only stopped 1.8 because actually I used to say buy 50 coils and they might last me for fucking 6 months. Kangatech coils, we used to buy in 1,000 and we'd go through thousands of them because every fucking man and the dog was using a fucking Kangatech or an Aspire. So then we stopped the Aspire, the BVC tank, whatever it was. They've done a few different styles, didn't they? But they all took a BVC coil.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
The Nautilus was the only tank that took the Nautilus coil. Then they dropped the mini Nautilus and then very quickly we stopped stocking the standard Nautilus coil and only stopped BVC, the vertical, the Nautilus with BVC coil. And then obviously as things started to change, most things, and then even like the Atlantis, when they dropped the first sub-ohm tank, they had that Atlantis fitting. Then Kangatech dropped the sub-ohm tank, they had their sub-ohm coil. How many tanks copied Aspire's fitting for that coil? Hundreds.
Yeah.
Even the Magnus you could put a Magnus coil inside one and not the other. You could do one way, but not the other because one of the coils was threaded. Bit like on the Nautilus. So I think you could use your Aspire coil in the Magnus because it's screwed from the bottom, but you couldn't use the Magnus coil in the Aspire because actually it used the thread on the coil to pull the tank together from the chimney section.
It's just on the top, wasn't there? There was threading on the top as well as the bottom, wasn't there?
And yeah, you obviously screwed the coil into the base, and then there was threading on the inside of the top of the coil, and the chimney section that and squashed everything down. But I would say that the Nautilus fitting, the Nautilus coil fitting, is the most copied thread fitting on any tank anywhere in the world. So many tanks. And if I was going to do a mounted long tank tomorrow, mate, I'd make sure it took a Nautilus coil. I'm not even going to lie, because it'd probably cost me more to develop a coil and manufacture them, because they're not going to manufacture 1,000 coils for me. They're going to want me to manufacture 3 or 4 or 500,000 coils, even if they're fucking 20 cents each. For me to manufacture in them volumes, it's still a fucking $200,000 just for coil. You know what I mean? And I know that I'd rather just come up with a tank design that looked nice, took a Nautilus coil and vape nice. Even something slightly fatter, but shorter chimney.
It's like Eden Mods, was it the Trillion that took
the Trillion that took it.
Yeah, it took Aspire coils. It took like 10 or 12 different coils, didn't it? Because obviously, as you just said, every fucking fitment was the same on the coils. Yeah. It's just crazy how sort of you got to that time where all these mouth-to-lung devices, it sort of, there's always like being a big sub-ohm boom, then there's been a mouth-to-lung, then there's been a big, sort of, we're not seeing the same progression as it used to be. Like, it used to be a 6-month cycle, really, didn't it? Let's be realistic. It was sort of, there were a big boom in mouth-to-lung, then there'd be a big 6-month boom in mech and sub-ohming, and then it'd go back to mouth-to-lung. And it did that for 3-4 years. And you knew as soon as like summertime came, it was all mouth to lung, couldn't go back to winter. It's like I can sit here now and remember the times where I used to sit and vape fruits all the way through summer. And then as soon as winter and autumn came, you'd be on your custard. And all people have been releasing these custard juices, you'd be on all desserts. That cycle's not there anymore. Is that cycle not there because there is such an influx of loads of things?
I think it's just been done to death, mate. And I think people have got bored of trying the same thing, put in a different bottle, and they've just found a flavour they like and they stick to it. And actually, even from a shop point of view, we'll go back 5 years and we stocked 5 or 6 different types of liquid, but that was all I could get my fucking hands on. People, like, we had them fucking flavours in our shop for 12 months and just reordered them, and people come in and bought them, and we reordered them, they come in and bought them. Then we went through the mad liquid boom where we had 150 to 200 different brands of liquid, maybe 500-600 different flavors. We had, I don't know, I bet at our peak, mate, we were probably sitting on close to 300 grams worth of liquid stock in that shop.
Oh, fucking hell.
Which was just crazy. And actually, even at that time, it was still fucking turned over because people would come in and buy 5 and 6 bottles of liquid because it was so new and so different. Now we've got maybe 60 ranges of liquid in the shop, 70 ranges. But out of them ranges, I can't think of anything apart from AF, Dr. Vapes. There's not many where I stock the whole range. I actually cherry pick the ones that sell. Back in the day, if someone had 8 flavours in a range, we'd take the 8 flavours and we'd see how it went. Now I'll do a little bit of research online and I'll say, listen, I'll take your top 5 or your top 3 or whatever. Because it just becomes so expensive to stock it. And people, unless you strike gold with the flavour, people have got their all-day vape and they'll buy one different bottle, maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. And if they don't like it, they'll suffer it, or they'll just use their all-day vape. And then when they're going to treat themselves, they'll buy another one. Back in the day, mate, we had people fucking hell, literally spending hundreds of pounds a week on different liquid.
Just to try it, you know what I mean? Just to say you've had it,
Literally,
and
not even like testing it in the shop. They'd be like, "Oh, what?" People used to walk through that door, and I don't know whether you got that at Dale's. What's new in? What have you got new in?
what's new?
And anything we had new in, mate, they'd buy it. If it was 4 bottles or 7 bottles, they'd take one of each.
But that sort of thing to me personally, because I always used to say, well, have you tried everything? No. Well, there's something new on the shelf, then, isn't there?
Yeah.
But then what that made people like retailers do was chasing the next new thing. So there was never sort of sitting on a line and sort of selling that juice and letting people try it. You'd go through 6 or 7 lines. And when we say lines, we mean just a front flavour, and then you've got fucking 10 flavours in the line. You'd get people who wouldn't try them, and they'd be like, what's new, what's new, what's new? And they've not tried even 2 out of that line. They'd try one, not like it, whatever, what's new next week. She'd be constantly chasing everything in the shops. And I think that's also was a massive, not just bugbearer, but I think that also made everybody like, we was at the time where we saw Smok and Kanga dropping a new tank and a new mod every week.
Ridiculous.
Because people were saying, what's new, what's new, what's new? And all they were doing is putting a new case on.
Mate, if I scroll through the wholesale catalogue from China, I would say, bear in mind, these are PDF A4s, and you've probably got maybe 5 across, so maybe 8 down, so that's 40 coils. I bet there's 3 or 4 pages of Smok coils.
Fuck.
Like, literally, if I was in the shop and someone come in and said, can I have a call for this Smok tank? I'd be like, yeah, come round and help yourself, mate. I ain't got a fucking clue. That's the truth. Well, obviously, I'm not. Back in the day, they used to come in with the tank, and I'd go, let's have a look, mate. Oh, you want a Kanga coil? Oh, you want an Aspire coil?
That's it. 1 or 2 coils max.
And we had, I'm trying to think of some of the other sort of tanks that we had going. Obviously, we had the Magnus. There was the.
But even like the Magnus Pole, how many coils were there for that too? At tops.
Yeah, a 0.2 and a 0.5.
What else do you need? And when you come to Smok have got 8 coils for 1 fucking tank.
I honestly don't get it. And I bet we stock 6 of them, maybe 8 of them. And there must be fucking 25 variants for the mini baby beast T12 or the T8, T12 or the mini baby or whatever the fuck they're called. The baby X, or there's just, and some of them will set the same call, most of them don't. It's just a fucking bastard ball ache.
But it's the same fucking coil, the same tank. It's just a different fucking size.
But the dude,
or a different design.
Like, we'll have people coming in saying, "Oh, can I have a fucking Q4?" And I'm like, they sent the Audi dealers, mate. You ain't got any fucking Q4s. Fuck off. You'll have an X12 and you'll love it. But I mean, we only stock what we sell. I know that's like a sort of stupid statement, but obviously when we first started, I was like, shit, we need to stock all these coils. Over a period of time, you realise that you might have one in 20 people ask for a mad coil, and that's the one that they prefer. Truth be told, now Mesh is outselling any other coil by a long, long way in all variants of coil available.
Do you not think though, like talking about mesh is like a 5-year-old technique? Like we used to use mesh in rebuildables, and it's sort of come back. Do you think sort of like that is an old technology that is coming back, and now they're floating the boat of everyone?
Flavor. And I feel like the industry's gone through the cloud scenario, and now people are chasing flavour a little bit more. From a Smok point of view, or from a Valerian point of view, or from a Freemax point of view, it seems that the stock coils in mesh seem to last longer than the other ones. Now, I don't know
about you, but when I was using mesh like 4 or 5 years ago, you could never use a dessert juice with mesh because it didn't taste as good as a fruit flavour did with mesh.
Yeah, because it seems to crispen and sharpen everything up. But that said, we weren't building 0.12 fucking close to sub-ohm mesh builds. They were 0.6s and 0.8s and 1 ohm. And
Even higher sometimes.
yeah, some people were running 2 ohm mesh builds on a fucking Genesis tank or something like that.
It just seems like that some of the technology that we did use a long time ago, it seems to be coming back, and so it was not very good back then, but now the technology has improved with it. So like you're saying, with the mesh coils are taking over, next one we're going to see is somebody like Aspire. Do you see like Aspire feeling like they're going to drop a mesh coil or
I think they will.
Is it following trends, or is it moving forward with technology?
You know what? I think they've learned how to. I think one of the biggest things, Tom, is these manufacturers are starting to understand what vaping is and what the vapor expects out of it. Back then, they literally were like, we need to make an electric cigarette device, and they'd fucking make it, and they didn't have a fucking clue what it'd done. They didn't really know how to product test it because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing with it. It worked in the factory, therefore it must be okay. They'd send it to market, and it leaked like a cunt.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the cycle that went on. Mate, I can remember when I told you, I said it many times. When I messaged the manufacturer and says, right, I want to do this mod. This is how I want it to work. It needs to be single. It needs to be stacked. They were like, no, you can't do that. It's dangerous. And I was like, it's not dangerous. It's only relevant to the coil. Ohm's law is what's going to govern whether this is safe. In theory, I can do a 25 stack mod as long as I've got the ability to put the appropriate ohmage into my fucking RDA at the top of the fucking mod. But then, mate, they would like send me videos of this, like these prototypes stacked with a fucking 0.12 coil on it because they didn't have a clue. And then they're going, Mr. Paul, this one, very big fucking firing, very big firing. I'm like, whoa, stop fucking pulsing that like that, you mad cunt. Because like they're not just pulsing it, mate. They're like going
sitting on
show
it.
me a video. And I'm like, whoa, stop that, you mad bastard. You blow your fucking hand off. Because they literally do not understand. So then as I went through my learning curve with that manufacturer, when I started putting designs forward to them, within 18 months, they were coming back to me saying, Paul, you've done this, but what about if we do that? Because they started to understand. They started to understand what they were making. They weren't just looking at a drawing and making a product and sending it out. So they could test it. They could try it and then say, actually, this throw's too long or the throw's too short, or we can put a lock on this, or we can do that, or we can do the other. There's not many manufacturers 5 years ago could do that because, mate, look at the clones. Right? Yeah. I can remember me and James Burr getting some 20, I don't even know what was the size, what was the 26, the Hades mods.
Yeah.
So what were they diameter? Got to be 30 mil, I would think.
They were 28 or 30.
They were even faster at the bottom, weren't they? Probably 30.
Yeah.
So if you let's say 30 mil for argument's sake. So we had some Hades clones in. Then we got some 30 mil RDAs, and the fucking post holes. You could not have got a fucking needle through the cunts. And then the airflow, like you'd struggle to fucking thread an eyelash through the airflow. And it was literally because they did not have a fucking clue.
They literally got like the 24 mil or the 22 mil version and just fucking made it bigger. They didn't make any airflows bigger. Nothing.
Exactly. It was like, then people who want a big one of these, bam. They just make the deck bigger. Posts inside were exactly the same as the 22 mil. The airflow was exactly the same. 510 drip tips, because obviously chuff caps weren't a fucking thing. Then 810 weren't a thing.
Nah.
Weren't. Everything was 510. Fucking crazy. I've got some of them shitty drippers still in the shop.
You need to get them out just for memories. You need to get them out. When you say it, you were speaking to manufacturers and stuff like that. To me, then it sits in the back of my head, and I go, people like us who were sitting, talking like this, building, messing about with mods, educated these big, huge companies to do what they are doing now. We sat here as guinea pigs.
As much as it rankles me in some ways because I think they're riding a wave, but on the plus side, the fact that reviewers are jumping into bed with these manufacturers and launching products, it's good. Because the likes of the vaping bogan, he knows what he wants out of someone. He understands vaping. He understands what an RDA is going to do and what it's not going to do. He understands the sort of airflow he wants, the way that he vapes. Most people that follow the vaping bogan would probably have a similar style of vaping, or they wouldn't follow him. There's people that follow him because of the way that he is, and you fucking can't, mate. You having a fucking dickhead. Fucking
Did you see? Did you see? I've seen it. I saw his video for Birmingham Expo. Have you seen it? Dave and Kevin are in it, and he's showed our mods on it. And Dave and Kevin stood like that, trying not to fucking look like they're having a laugh while he's recording. I watched it yesterday. And they're supposed to like.
No, you have to
I'll link you to it.
But actually, it's good that they've actually started letting people, even like Phil and Dimitri, they've got involved within a kin to try and make this made-to-long thing because that's their thing, and it's good that they're doing it. It's good that the manufacturers allow them to do it because it stopped them just knocking out. Like they went through a stage where they tried to make stuff that just looked cool, and it was just completely didn't work. It was shit, and yet they were that close to having a fucking genius idea. They didn't even know it was a genius idea. They just struck gold by accident.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see, not necessarily see that these reviewers are getting in, but they're obviously taking an input. But we were giving inputs 5 years ago and telling them this is what we wanted. You know, they've been releasing, like, I remember when the sub-home tank came out, the sub-tank by Kangatech, and everyone was like, nah, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do other to it. Next version out next week, and it's exactly everything you fucking told them to do. Because everybody be sat tapping away on the internet. This is what it needs to be. This is how it needs to be. And they'd literally go on the internet, fucking bang on these lot know what they're on about. Let's fucking write this down and we'll do this.
The mad thing is that for me, the sub-tank and the sub-tank Mini was better than the Atlantis by a fucking country mile. I believe it, but you either got a good one or you got a shit one.
Yeah.
But I had a sub-tank Mini. I don't know if it's maybe I changed it until I got a good one. But it didn't leak and it vaped really well. And I vaped it at 30 watts with a fucking 0.5 coil in it. And it was just nice. And the flavour was good on it. And it looked nice. And you could get them in pink and blue and black and silver. And it was all... That was like
change your O-rings and everything.
Yeah. That was like the start of colours coming in. Because back in the day, mate, black or silver, they were your two options. It's a bit like the Ford factory. We've got loads of new mods coming. You can have it in any colour you like as long as it's black or fucking silver.
Yeah.
To be fair, when we dropped Endless, we were probably one of the first mod companies to offer them colour ranges.
Yeah, customization.
In RDA, because in RDA, Limitless didn't even have an RDA when we dropped our first RDA. We dropped the kit with the RDA straight off, and actually with 12 colour options.
Who did they drop their RDA with somebody else though? Didn't they? They actually they launched the tube. But did they make their own RDA?
They dropped their own RDA, and it was 22 mil. And I can remember them tagging me in a post on Instagram saying, "It's nice to see you've copied our RDA." When I dropped it, and I swear I went in hard on them. I was like, "You fucking dickheads! My RDA's been out for like fucking 7 months, you mad cunt." And actually, my RDA is 24 mil. Well, we were one of the first companies to drop a 24 mil RDA.
Yeah, everything was 22 mil, 100%.
And then we were one of the first companies to drop a 24. I don't even know of a company that had a 25 mil RDA before us. I honestly can't think of who had a 25 mil RDA before us.
No, everything was 22, even like down to like the Dark Horse, Tubes, all that stuff. They were all 22 mil RDAs.
There must have been some 24s, but I don't know. Because actually, Limitless, their chamfer was 22 mil. Chamfer on the top cap. On our V1, it was 22 mil, which was a fuck up. It was supposed to be 24. We dropped it with an RDA that was 24 mil with a 22 mil chamfer. And actually, by then, I was like, fuck it, man, just send it. When we done the V2 7 months later, we changed it to 24 mil chamfer on the top cap. But actually, I'm genuinely trying to think who else had 24 mil. And certainly, we were one of the first people to drop a decent sized deck. Because most people had gone for this battle deck thing, 24 mil, 20 mil deck.
Yeah, it would never sort of like, I don't even think anything came out with like a 4-post until V2S.
No, well, Vipers Cloud had it, but not in 24 mil.
What did they have? They have the
Buddha, the big
Buddha. Yeah.
4-post.
What was that? 28.5.
Well, they've done. I don't know if they even had the mini. They might not have even had the mini Buddha boy then. I don't know, mate. I can't remember exactly.
No, the mini Buddha's what, 2 years?
I honestly can't remember. But they had that 4-post design in the big Buddha, in the normal size Buddha.
It's just mad how shit sort of like, as you've said plenty of times, only so many times you can make a tube design and you can do this, you can do that. And now I'll sort of the decks and everything, how everything's come along with decks. Like, look at all the different designs of decks. Yes, they all predominantly do the same thing. They attach coils to a fucking deck, but all the different designs in decks and stuff that people are bringing out and already have brought out. Like, I remember you saying, we're the first people to have the four post. And then fucking Twisted Message comes along with the fucking same deck, but with clamps. It's like, nah, this was me, mate. This was me.
They dropped the same deck. It's actually they're doing it without clamps.
Oh, did they do? Was it which one was it that they did without clamps? It was the Goon that did clamps, but the Twisted Message, which was that the squared?
I just know that our four-post deck was out before the Twisted Message. I'd never seen that design deck before. And actually, we obviously done a Velocity style, didn't we?
Yeah.
The very first deck we done was Velocity style, or was it? Or did we?
No, yeah, it was because what you did was you did the Velocity style, and then you did the four post, which is a V2, and you did the V2 with it actually showed the copper, didn't it? You didn't silver plate it.
No, but we had a four-post. What come with the very first kit? The four-post.
Nah, the Velocity style. With the very first kit you did was the Velocity style. Yeah, the very first, it was a Velocity style. That's what I had.
Yeah, so we dropped the Velocity style, then we dropped the four-post, then we dropped the V2, which was a V2S but copper,
yeah,
plated. Then we done the V2S, then we done the 2B2 24, 2B2 22, then we done the V2S.
Yeah, V2S in 24 mil, yeah, and then you did the now the Emmy deck.
We've done the two post in the 20 mil, like a V2S 20 mil, like the
battle. It wasn't it like a battle deck style.
Yeah.
And then the Emmy. So we 67 designs there on a deck, isn't there?
Yeah. And actually, right in the middle of all of that, I'd done the clamp before. I'd never seen a clamp on anything, and for ages and ages, I never even. You know what the biggest thing was, Tom? I only ever used round wire. I used to use 22 gauge or 21 gauge wire doctor or something like that, and it was 6 wraps, 5 wraps, depending on how I wanted my build. And for me, the V2S, I still genuinely think the V2S deck, that style of deck, is one of the best decks on the market for building them.
100%, because it's so easy.
But I had a prototype of a clamp, and I was like, "This is shit, man. No one's going to love this." And then when I remember seeing the Goon, and I was like, "Motherfuckers, man!"
And what was it? What was the serial number you saw in it? Like 25,000 or something?
I had an authentic Goon, and it was serial. It was less than 500. My first Goon was, and then about maybe 10 weeks later, max, maybe 8 weeks later, it was like 140 something thousand, and I was like, "Motherfuckers, man!" And actually, I didn't like the airflow on the fucking Goon. I didn't like the clamps on it, but actually, I think the original OG Goon looked cool on a mod.
Mm.
And then if you get to the 1.5, it looks like a Slammer. It's like a Slammer 24.
But they haven't released out since that, though, have they?
Huh?
Since that, they haven't released out like the good person, whoever the Goon was.
25 mil, isn't there?
They've what? Just dropped it in 25. Just how long ago?
Recently, they've dropped the Goon one in 25 mil.
And what? When did the Goon come out? Fucking 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago.
Gotta be.
And they've only just dropped the 25 mil.
Yeah.
What fucking planet are they on? Try to find a fucking OG Goon now with fucking 990,000 on serial on it.
Crazy, mate. We made hundreds of them. All Chinese made. From day one.
What were the 60, 70 quid in the first launch?
70 quid made in China, and people saying to me, "You're charging fucking £30 for your
35 quid for an RDA, you take it piss, and they're releasing fucking £70.
When we had the slams, before we even done the slam, and we had the slam that fitted the same deck, that deck and cap was $24.99. Actually, went up to 34.99 when we bought the Slammer, mate, because it was obviously you got the airflow control, you got the top, you got the drip tip.
Yeah, it went to 810, didn't it? Because obviously
Yeah.
it wasn't a when you dropped to the Slam, it wasn't a 510. It was a different size, but it wasn't an 810, was
It
it?
was our size, and it was the same size as that. I'd done that because I was like, oh, there's an option here to sell drip tips. And if we only got that size, I'll have to buy our drip tips. So, but that sort of backfired on me because I should have just went 810 at the start.
Yeah, but was 810 there?
It
Was 810 already out? Already out?
was there through Complive, to be fair.
Yeah, but but they really started sort of that. So if Comp Life sort of started the 810, they obviously. But yours was just as big as sort of maybe not as big as an 810.
Yeah, on the Endless Clouds V1, it was bigger than a fucking 810.
No way.
Wider, but it had the O rings was on the drip tip, not with the O ring lock on an 810.
Neil Pugsley, Goon 25 is about a month old.
Yeah, I say it's recent, mate.
Fucking hell. There's got to be a reason why they're not jumped on that sooner. But yet again, sort of, that's mad to think that they've only just jumped on a 25 mil after fucking 2.5 years. And I can't see it doing as well as the fucking original either. I really can't. I can't see it doing as well as the original. Well, we've done a bit of reminiscing there. But we can go on to sort of social media. I've got another topic with obviously social media. Obviously, like you've openly said, social media helped Endless a lot and got the name out there and everything like that. Like Mick Addiction massively supported Endless and the journey of Endless. Going on to social media itself, not like us, like on the show and stuff like this. Do you think there's pros and cons to the social media? Do you think there's negativity around social media, as social media killed a little bit of the industry compared to what it used to be, or do you think it's helped it? Obviously, it's helped it grow 100%, 110%. Social media has helped the vaping industry grow because you get a direct, like, sort of, people are saying this, yeah, that looks cool. This is, you can speak to the consumer as a manufacturer. You can speak to the consumer what they like, what they think is going on. But do you think there's certain parts of social media that hasn't worked in this industry and sort of killed it a little bit, or maybe damaged it a little bit?
I just think that it all comes back to this sponsorship thing, and then back in the day, people respected the people that were sponsored because they were genuine and they weren't even getting paid for it. Companies weren't paying no one to sponsor; they were just sending them some free stuff, but only to people that had always grafted and repped and worked hard at promoting a product. They only done that because they genuinely liked it. I don't think they were necessarily looking for sponsorship. In the last 2.5 years, the whole the social media community became disjointed because there was that many people trying to break off into their own fractions to have their own groups so they could have their own set of people and get their own set of sponsors and get something for themselves from it. And for me, it starts giving little credence to anything anyone says. And that's why when I wanted to put the members thing together, it weren't about them being sponsored by Endless and being sponsored by AF and being sponsored by Shady Vaping. We've got people in them, 20 odd people that are sponsored by shit we don't sell. I wanted it to be about promoting vaping and going back to the basics of promoting vaping and helping people who are mouth to lung, helping people to understand the difference between a mouth to lung inhale and a lung inhale, the difference between lung inhaling high VG and fucking 50, 12 milligram. Because I do genuinely believe we all lost our way with that, and we all assume that everyone who vapes is on our level of knowledge. And the truth of it is, there's new vapors joining the party every single day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like it just became disjointed. And then you've obviously within them fractions of people, you've got people that were successful and people that weren't, and then you've got the people that weren't start hating on the people that are, and they then get a following to hate on the people that is, and I've seen that with myself, mate. I've seen people stop talking to me, whether it's because of the way I conduct myself on social media, whether it's because we were successful on social media. I don't know what it is. I'm not really fussed. But even if you go to the sort of the Kevin Carmichael situation, I don't know where that came from. I don't know what spurred him on to do that. I haven't got a clue. I'd never heard of the bloke before that night when he done the live and abused all of us all for doing that charity auction. I didn't know him, so I'd never crossed paths with him. The fact is, he knew who I was.
Yeah.
So is it because we're doing something? If because we're succeeding in business, does that mean that people have got to start putting us down? And to be fair, I ended up going to war with a bloke I don't know from Adam, to the point where I was like, I can't even be asked to argue. I get people sending me screenshots going, "Oh, have you seen what someone said?" I honestly don't give a fuck. Really don't. But it does not bother me in the slightest. If people want to speak to me, they can speak to me. If they don't, they don't. I've had people that I considered friends block me on Facebook or unfriend me on Facebook because of other people shit stirring. There's no way in a million years I'm going to start sending people inbox going, "All right, mate, have I done something to upset you?"
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, just because I'm a bit like anyone and people that have spoke to me, mate, people that know that they can talk to me. And I get because of the way that I am on social media. Um,
yeah, but I would say the thing is for me, Paul, is, and I get that 100%. And for me personally, this industry has gone from strength to strength to strength to strength, and there's enough dough for it to go around. Yes, it's a lot more competitive than it was 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago. A lot more competitive. But if you can't, if for me personally, if you can't celebrate somebody's success and you have to get green-eyed about it, then I don't feel like you should be anywhere near this industry, because this industry is not necessarily now, but was in the time a family-run industry, and it was all family-run businesses. It was no big corporations. Wasn't millions and millions of pounds to get thrown at it. It was people growing baby companies into big multinational companies. Like we've spoke about James and stuff like that with his distribution, and you know what I mean. He's done that and grown from being a baby. I just feel like you should celebrate people's achievements, especially when these are not even like middle class people or high end class people. You know what I mean? These are working class people who have gone and set out and done something and changed people's lifestyles.
yeah,
And
and
if that can't be celebrated, I think that's sore. You are very
right
fucking
the way
sore.
back then, mate, I don't know. I couldn't name or think of anyone that didn't work with anyone.
Yeah, everybody was very tight knit, 100%, 100%. I know for a fact, like you said in the past, you could phone up another shop down the street and say, "I ain't got this. Do you mind if I come down and get it? Because I ain't got it, and a customer wants it." If you tried to do that now, they'd go, "Fuck off, send customer my way."
Well, that mate, I used to have people phone me up and say, "I've got a customer in the shop. He wants an Atlantis. Have you got any?" I go, "Yeah, yeah, mate, come down and get one." And he'd like, "Oh, I'll just send him down to you." Because there was no like, "Oh my god, I'm going to lose the customer forever and a day." And vice versa, people come into my shop when we had the authentics and we had clone, and they go, "Oh mate, have you got a cotton candy eye bun?" I'd like, "I ain't, mate. They sell out as quick as I get them in." And I'd go online in my shop and say, "James has got one at Evo, or Grays have got one at Digbeth." And I go, "Oh, I'll shoot over to James," and I normally use James and you, or I'll go and see Taz because I use both of you anyway. I've never ever once ever slagged off another shop in my shop, and I sacked a member of staff for slagging off a competitor in my shop to a customer because I didn't ever want that. It's not what I wanted.
But
I
you don't need it.
inboxed someone last night, mate, to say, "Have you got an issue with me?" Because I've been sent a screenshot of a post you put, which I think you're referring to me. If you're not, I apologise. But I don't know where this has come from because I'm not aware that we've got an issue. I'm not aware that me and you have ever had beef. I didn't even know you'd unfriended me until I just went to message you. I hadn't heard of you 6 weeks ago. I don't know who you are. Your business don't affect my business. So I don't understand why there's some animosity. And actually, we had a chat and he says, "Thanks ever so much for messaging me. I appreciate it. And it means a lot to me that you've bothered to message me." I said, "Well, thank you for answering me because actually, I don't want beef. I spent the whole day yesterday being naughty Paul, playing on my statuses, fucking winding up the whole of the world. They're genuinely not directed at anyone, mate. They're just statuses, just for shits and giggles, just for people going fucking cheeky prick or laughing. I was somewhere today and a video call was made, a hands-free call was made, and the geezer on the phone says, I said to him, "Can you just let him know that I got in touch with him to get his number for you. And he said, "Oh, Paul messaged you to get in touch with me because the geezer had been messaging me back. He gave me his number and whatever. I passed it on, and then he was messaging me saying, I'm in Birmingham, I'll hook up and meet with you and whatever. And to be fair, I didn't answer him back, not because I've been an ignorant cunt. I seen the message when I was driving, I forgot. So when the bloke today phoned him, I said, just let him know I wanted his number for you, and that's now been sorted. And he was like, "Oh, he's Paul there. He's fucking funny, man. His status is yesterday, da, 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 da." So then people are just like having a laugh at it. The people that think, is he on about me? You need to honestly have a think about the way you're conducting yourself. Because all my status yesterday were just literally wind up, man. They're just on the wind up.
And they can apply to everyone.
They can apply to lots and lots of people, but they're not directed at no. And it isn't me trying to be evasive, so I haven't got to confront who I'm fucking talking about. They're just very generic, general statuses that cover a multitude of people. Take it whatever way you will. And look, and genuinely, yesterday I had someone who's a friend block me on Facebook yesterday morning, and then put a status up, and I'm like, you've just blocked me for putting a status up that you think's about you, and then you've put a status up about me after you've blocked me. I don't even get that, man. Fucking have some balls about you, and at least message me and say you prick, for me to say, yes, it is, no, it isn't. You know what I mean? And that's when I put the one up saying, just remove me off your friends list if you're not happy with what I'm posting. But do me a favour and take me off all of the fucking Paul Harrisons, because otherwise I've got to log into 7 accounts to fuck you up. Fucking pain in the arse.
But then it goes back to you being a person.
Mate, he's just me. I know you'd said to Tash yesterday, what's up with Paul? And she was like, nothing, he's just been a prick.
No, because someone said this, and this, I'll say this live, I'm not fussed. Somebody in one of our group chats, someone was like, Paul's on it, Paul's on one, and for me, when someone says someone's on one, it means they're in a mood or something's up. And I first straight away went, Tash, what's wrong with Paul? She was like, no, he's just having a fucking one of them days where he just wants to have a laugh.
Tash was just talking about, and I was like, I'm on the wind up today, fuck it, I'm going old school, man.
So I was like, yeah, but then because obviously I know what you like when you put out statuses, so I'm like sat there waiting for a new one, and there's like one every 25 minutes, and I'm like, fuck's sake, he's definitely on one. But I for me personally, I know what you like when it comes to statuses, and I know they're not aimed at anyone, because I know for a fact, 100%, as a person who knows you, if you've got an issue, you're told there's an issue. None of this sort of all over Facebook.
Genuinely, if I've got an issue with someone's that level, I'd inbox them like I did last night and just say, is there a problem? Because I'm not aware of one. Or what if you've got the balls to fucking put that post up, tag me in the cunt. But I mean, I'm not about going to war with people. I'm not about fucking falling out with people. There's people that never like or comment on my statuses. That when I see them in person, they go, mate, your statuses are fucking funny. They don't feel the need to be all over it, going, oh, Paul, you're so funny. That's not what I'm doing it for. I just do it for my own entertainment, mate. Some days I'm just bored. Some days I am bored and I'm like, fuck it, I'm on the wind up today. I'll just start winding people up. And even yesterday morning, I was doing my live feed driving to work, and actually what started all of this, and I said it on my live feed yesterday morning, the day before that, we'd been to the kids' nativity play, and we're not allowed to take pictures and videos. And I was a bit like, you know what? Just if you're that obsessed with not having your kids in the videos, don't let them be in the fucking play. Take them off the fucking stage. And then my sister was piping up on the live feed saying, yeah, but just remember, Paul, some of these kids, they're under social services. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck who they're under. Don't put them in the play then. And she was saying, yeah, but they should be in the play. No, they shouldn't. Because I should be able to take a picture of my kid in the play. I should be able to take a video and fucking send it to my mum. Or post it on social media if I want to. But I can't, because there's another kid in there that can't do it. So then I says, what about then if we, like, the night before I'd had sort of, not an argument, because actually me and Lucy are just straightforward, mate. She'll just say to me, stop being a dickhead, you're a prick. But she'd got a post up about it saying, like, these people that post pictures of other people's kids. And I was like, don't put your kids in the play then. And she was like, fuck off, Paul. And I was like, I'm being serious. I'm not even trolling you. I'm not joking. Don't put the kid in the play. And she went, it doesn't take that much effort to put a sticker over the other kids' faces. on the photo. And I was like, fuck you. I says, put the fucking kid in a mask before they go on the stage. If you're not happy about having your kids fucking, they can all have the shit emoji on. All the ones that aren't allowed to go on social media. So when I post more video, I haven't got to edit nothing. There's got my daughter, some other kids whose mum and dads don't mind them being on social media, and a whole group of little shit emojis dancing to the fucking nativity. Do that if you want. And she was like, go fuck off, go and troll on your 50 Shades page. And I was like, Luce, I'm not even joking. That's just how I feel.
The majority of parents that are saying don't take pictures of my kids have got on blast all over social media anyway. So what the fuck does it matter?
Fucking literally go onto fucking Facebook on a Friday and they're in the search bar searching free babysitting services. And then they message some geezer called fucking Ropey Dave and going, all right, mate, so I don't know if you can help me out. I'm supposed to be out tonight on the old cocaine and getting some cock up, mate. Any chance you can have fucking Destiny, Diamond, Shanquita and Mercedes for me? And he's like, yeah, I'll fucking have them. How old are they? Oh, Diamond's 14. Yeah, definitely, mate. I'm on this. I'll come around and look after your kids for you. They don't give a fuck. And they'll be like, I'll be back sometime by Sunday. I won't be gone more than 2 days. On Monday morning, they've got a big fucking status saying as if someone's posted Shanquita up on fucking social media. The fucking babysitter's been knocking the back out of her all fucking weekend and not one single fuck was given. And I'm like, seriously, sort your shit out, mate.
It's true. It's the fucking truth.
Madness. And my sister's there going, oh, yeah, well, sometimes it could be because their dad's not allowed to see him. That ain't my fucking problem.
Yeah.
Fucking. But what happened was that, like, Christmas, I'm not being like, all worries me. Christmas, I always think about my dad a lot. And actually, I've been to that plane. It fucking pissed me off that I couldn't take a picture. And then on the night, I put up that big long status about Christmas, and I was just reminiscing in my head, really. And then I was searching pictures for 1980s decorations on Google and that, and I just got a bit nostalgic. So then on the morning, then I was a bit like, society is just fucked, man.
Proper. You have to be PC. You have to be so PC.
Has ruined generations, mate. It's ruined generations of people.
It's ruined freedom of speech. Without 100%, it's ruined freedom of speech. As even though they say you can say this and you can say that and you can say other, if you put something on social media, they have a report button, which means that you can fucking say I don't like what they're saying. But if I went in fucking street and started saying it, someone would definitely fucking say something about it. But you can sit behind your keyboard and report what I'm saying. There's no freedom of speech because you are reporting someone because you don't like what they're saying, and everybody has their own right to have their own opinion. 100%, and social media has done that, and it's stopped freedom of speech. And talking the freedom of fucking speech, on the news, in our vaping news, one of the vape shops in America is suing the government for breaking freedom of speech because of what their rules they're putting in for vaping, freedom of speech. So just put that out there. In America, if you search it, it's Oregon vape shop owner is suing the government for removing freedom of speech because of what he wants to put on his labels on his juice. So talking of freedom of speech, there's a little bit of an update. And I've also had a message off Abby just now, and she's on social media, and this is talking to social media. You've seen Geordie Shore, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know Chloe on Geordie Shore is, don't you? Yeah, well, she don't smoke. She don't smoke and she don't vape. But apparently, she's promoting vape products.
Mate, she's a desperate fucking rat. Look at the lips on her.
It says, I take my, I'm not going to mention the name of the company. It says, I take my sub-home with me everywhere. So many flavors to choose from. That is just a promotional picture that she's put on her social media. So Chloe from Geordie Shore is now promoting vaping. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier about sponsorship and people just doing it necessarily just out of cash. And shit like that, because let's be realistic, Paul, even though Geordie Shore is an over 18 show, 18's and over show, she's promoting that to kids. What? Let's be realistic.
I don't think so.
Well, she's promoting, the majority of her fans are going to be kids out there.
Promoting to fucking seedy. So, I'm going to smoke the same vape as her, and then if I'm out in Newcastle and I see her, I might get to touch her fake tits.
majority of her followers are kids, aren't they? So she not necessarily she's may not be predominantly sitting there and promoting to kids, but people are seeing that who are children who watch her. That's just my opinion on that. But yeah, she's got 34,535 likes on that picture on Instagram.
Mate, some of the posts on Instagram are shocking. Just from a out and out advertise. I mean, when you've got some bird who has got a tits as close as damn it out, saying, "I love my Nautilus too," and they don't know what the fuck a Nautilus too is. Like, if you inbox her and says, "All right, love, I've got one of them tanks. Find it's a bit gargly." She wouldn't have a fucking clue what you. The only thing she's ever gargled is some bloke's fucking spawn. Yeah, you see him. You see the vape trollops at Expo, not having a clue what to do with this shit.
That's true. That is true.
And that's what I don't get. I just don't understand it. I don't. And yet there's some people out there that claim to be advocates or bloggers or whatever, and they're just needy attention-seeking fuckers, man.
It's not like it used to be. Like you were saying earlier, and you were saying that people in like you probably like yourself, like you say, usually say Ollie and stuff like that. When they used to say a product was good, people would go out and buy the product because they knew they were telling the truth, and they knew that it was the fact that these lads have actually tried these products and they've gone through it, and they've tested it and tested and tested it, and they've actually put their name to it. There's none of that. If you put your name to a product and it's shit, it doesn't really matter.
Owned a vape shop that was retailing, I would still say I've tried this and it's not for me. Most people now, every single thing they touch, fuck me, it's fucking brilliant. The liquid's lovely, it's fucking coil friendly. Coil friendly, my fucking arsehole. It needs fucking microwaving for 3 minutes to fucking break the sugar down. You start to crystallize in the bottom, right? You're a fucking liar. And it's just about getting free stuff, free money, free everything, because they've got a fucking Facebook page with 10,000 people on it, or 6,000 people. In some cases, 300 people. Now, I'd rather have a Facebook page of 300 people where every single person on there would be. It's like Gav Blake from Mean Bean Reviews. He messaged me. He reviewed the AF range, and he messaged me and says, "I don't like your grape." And I says, "That's cool, mate." And he says, "It's not even that I don't like your grape. I can tell it's a well blended grape, but I don't like grape liquids." He said, "So I've said it's not for me." And I says, "Mate, I've got more respect for someone that could say, or anyone that goes, all grape liquids are shit. He's just a prat, an absolute prat, because it just means I don't like watermelon, but I know when I vape a watermelon liquid whether it's nice or not. Not whether it's nice, whether it's good.
Whether it tastes of watermelon or not.
We had a watermelon strawberry chiller that we were going to drop in the AF range. In hindsight, it probably would have sold amongst there with the biggest seller, if not more than. And I couldn't do it because I don't like watermelon, and I had to be genuinely behind the first 12 flavours to say there's not one in there that I don't like. I like them on different levels of my favourites. And like I said last week, I'll go in the shop and I'll normally pick up a bottle of Pingu every time. And yet, Dave will come here with a fucking different. He'll come here with Strawgasm, and I'll vape it, and I'll be like, "Fucking lovely that is." I never think to pick the bottle up. It's just the way that it is. But people are just fucking ridiculous. And the other thing is, 99.2% of all vape reviewers, / bloggers / advocates have all got fucking anxiety, man. I'm like, why? What's the matter with you? I don't understand it. And I don't know if it's just because they're just like scared that they get called out for being a prat or a liar or fucking talking shite or what. I don't know. Crazy. Social media's ruined generations of people, mate, badly.
Sorry, I've just got a message about the Orion. Is it Orion? Sorry.
Yeah.
Someone just messaged me saying someone shot him out for 130 quid.
Shut up.
I swear to God. I won't say who it was, but yeah, I just got a message saying they shot him out for 130. So I'm gonna go on to this video that I found on YouTube, and I'm gonna show everybody this video. So that means I need to take up my headphones. I'm gonna share my screen.
I've just googled it, and $69.99 is the go-to price.
Well, someone's shot it at
Now,
130.
the only
So.
other thing is I know they do different finishes on it, so it could be that they've done a mad special one that makes it £130. I don't know. But I've just googled it, and everywhere at the top is $69.99.
Right, so I told you a little bit before the show about this video on YouTube that I've got. It's a Fox News video. This is actually on the main Fox News in America. And it's basically a doctor, a presenter, and somebody who claims to be a vape god. And they're basically talking about the title is FDA to crack down on menthol cigarettes, menthol flavors, tobacco to fight teen smoking. As we've mentioned every week for the last fucking 3 months, we're talking about the epidemic that's in the States, that they're saying that there's a lot of teenagers vaping and stuff like that. So every news outlet in the States, including the biggest, are all reporting on this vaping epidemic that's going on, trying to stop kids going on to vaping. Can't stop kids smoking and they can't stop kids drinking, but they'll fucking try their hardest to stop them vaping. So basically, this is just a little 4-minute video of an interview from this guy that calls himself the vape god and a doctor. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to show this video. And I want everyone, including yours, Paul, honest opinion on this video. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Right, let me turn it up. I just want to make sure you all can hear it. Bear with me. Getting smart this week.
The FDA wants regulations, specifically with regard to flavored varietals that have helped propel the explosion in the use among the young. Here now, 2 folks on very separate sides of this issue. Jeanette Neshwat is a family and emergency room doctor, and Tom Scabelli, a blogger at Barstool Sports, who affectionately goes by the name Tommy Smokes because of videos like this.
First thing I'm going to try, sick jewel trick. They just deal with all that ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys hopping out. Coast. This shit way too big. When we pull up, give me the loot. You can't overdose on jewel, can you?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Is it
all right,
jumping?
Tell me on why these.
Let me just change the quality. Let's go back to the video of him doing this. So he calls himself Tommy Smokes.
So because of videos like this.
First thing I'm going to try, sick jewel trick. They just deal with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys hopping our coast. This shit way too big. When we pull up, give me the loot. You can't overdose on jewel, can you?
Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, Tommy, tell me on why these flavored e-cigs shouldn't be regulated, even when teens are using them in these increasing numbers.
Well, look, I'm 22 years old, so I'm using them legally, and honestly, they're just cool. Like, they're cool. You rip them. There's nothing cooler than blowing a fat cloud like that. They call me the Colossus of Cloud. It helps my swag. It helps my drip. I just love walking around. It's really good for getting chicks, too. So, honestly, I started about a year ago, and I haven't looked back since.
I have a question. You use your cell phone quite a bit?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Okay, so why don't you rig it up to your phone And that way you won't have like the actual calories burned by grabbing your phone, so you can vape and kind of check email and text at the same time. You should have it like right off the side. Okay, that'll be your invention. I'm giving it to you, so you can develop
I'd vape like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you don't have to keep switching devices. All right, humor aside, doctor, what should we know about the
now listen to what the doctor has to say.
E-cigarettes, vaping, wildly popular. Parents don't really know when their kids are doing it. Like, what's the big deal? It's not like a cigarette, right?
Well, it's just as harmful as cigarettes. Smoking causes more deaths than alcohol, drugs, guns, and car accidents combined. The nicotine in cigarettes and in vaping products such as the Juul is highly addictive. And when it comes to children, it can cause brain developmental abnormalities in kids. It can cause concentration problems, memory problems, problems with decision making, anxiety, depression. So it really can have a significant toll on children. And it's really important that we educate parents and educate children and students just to stay away from smoking.
All right, but the argument from the big lobbying organizations pushing vaping is that it's not that you don't get the tar right in your lungs that you get from a regular cigarette. Matter,
but you are inhaling propylene glycol, formaldehyde, traces of metals and chemicals, which can cause upper respiratory tract infections, asthma flare-ups, COPD, which can allow you to have trouble breathing beyond oxygen tanks and put some people in the emergency room. Poor Tommy over there is gasping for air and coughing.
Tommy, you don't seem to be bothered at all by formaldehyde or any of the things that you take in. You love it. And look at how Tommy smokes. Look at how he looks. He looks fantastic after all this.
Right, but 10, 20 years from now, he's going to have trouble breathing. He may develop chronic bronchitis.
Cool.
And I'm here for you, Tommy, if you ever decide you want to quit.
Hey, Tommy, did you smoke cigarettes before, and was this your way to get off or no?
No cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad for you. I would never do anything that's bad for your lungs or anything. I just stick to Juul.
But
have you heard of wet lungs? What that is?
No. So what is that?
Wet lungs, doctor, explain it to us, because now we're finding a lot of Juul users developing this syndrome called wet lungs.
Sure, it's also known as popcorn lung, which can cause scarring and inflammation in your lungs. And actually, people who start off using Juuling or vaping products, that has been considered to be a gateway drug, and can lead people to actually start smoking real cigarettes, and that is a concern.
No, popcorn's delicious. I'm not worried about that.
So what flavor do you use, Tommy?
I usually go mango. Mango is my go-to, but I'll blow whatever's put in front of me.
Yeah, they're regulated now. The flavors are gone, right? They're going to be, you're going to they're going to have to just go menthol. You should just go full-on menthol cigarettes.
The man can't stop me. They can't
That's the other thing, Laura, is that they're targeting these cigarettes to children. You know, mango,
kids.
Hawaiian punch.
Yeah, that's the problem. The tutti frutti, the cotton candy. All right, guys, we're gonna check in with Tommy Smokes in about 6 years and so he's.
There you go. There you have it. So on one half, you've got this absolute troll of a man trolling the hell out of the TV show, and a woman that's trying to be deadly serious about it. What is your honest opinion on that?
My honest opinion is she sounds like more of a troll than fucking him. Fucking popcorn lung than formaldehyde.
Yep.
Fucking mad woman.
And that's on Fox News.
They're still selling tobacco.
That is the thing. I was sitting there thinking, she's saying all this shit about vaping, and she sat there going, well, there ain't a problem with tobacco. You go into smoking and this, that, the other. It's like when she said, have you ever smoked? He was like, nah, don't put it in my lungs. He's doing that shit in my lungs. And he sat there with two, you see him going with two fucking But I've got the reason I wanted to show this, Paul, is because this is on Fox News Live. So this is on American TV. This guy is blatantly, we know he's a troll. We know he's taking the piss. But what does the mainstream people think of this dude? Do they all think that we're all like this? Or are they not silly enough to know that he's just taking the piss? Because,
mate,
let's be real.
They're Americans, right? Look how fucking Sacha Baron Cohen, Aka, fucking what's his name? Midjuli.
Oh, Ali G.
Ali G, right? Look how that controlled America. On the next, I mean, he started off in the UK, but actually very quickly, people were like, "You dickhead, you're just being a fucking troll here." He was trolling people before trolls were called trolls, mate. And he went to America and stormed it because they're that fucking thick and stupid. They can't differentiate between someone on the wind up and someone serious because they're serious people saying to us English people like they're on the fucking wind up anyway.
Yeah.
And for me, I'd watch that and think, as if he's got on telly, national news in America, jaw blowing, two fucking jaw blowing.
Coughing his ring roof as she's
I
talking.
fucking love popcorn, dude. It's like, mate. But then the doctor, he's talking more shit than him.
This is proper. Saying all metals are formaldehyde and all this shit. That's in it.
Fucking
Give it 20 years.
lung.
Wet lung. Fucking wet lung. When I heard him say wet lung, I was like, what the fuck is wet lung? And then she went, hey, also known as popcorn lung. I was like, oh, here we fucking go. You've read a fucking Vice fucking blog and they've told you about popcorn lung, and here we go. Vaping's now got it. To me, Buzz, I sat there and laughed at that he's actually got on the main fucking news and he's been able to absolutely troll the shit out of them, wearing a hat that says fucking vape god, and then fucking sat there, he's got one in one hand, one in the other, and tooting him and coughing his lungs up as she's fucking talking shit to him. I thought it was fucking brilliant, but I just felt like we obviously get it's a joke, but as you've said, the Americans would turn around and think that we're 100% real, and that person is like that, and the majority of vapors are like that, and that was my worry. Is it a worry? Could it have a negative impact?
You know what? For as bad as we've got it in the UK, mate, if you strip out there's things like bottle sizes and tank sizes, the rest of it sort of makes sense to me.
100%.
Apart from short fill. Short fill should not be a thing because I know for a fact there's people that have dropped liquids that haven't been tested, that they stopped making when they put TPD lines through, and they've started again now in short fill because they're full of diacetyl. There's so many new liquids on the market full of diacetyl. And I know which ones they are because they're the best tasting liquids. It's true, mate. It's true. You taste a good quality custard and it's got diacetyl in it. And if it hasn't, they've put all the sorts of shit in there to try and mask it.
Yeah, I think that is definitely
and that's why short fill shouldn't be allowed, because actually we should be able to stand there and say any liquid that is manufactured and sold in the UK is made to this standard and it's tested. And then the other thing is, for us to test our flavours cost us about 850 quid a flavour. So you do 12 flavours on that, and it's a lot of dough, mate. You're at about fucking whatever that is, 10 grand.
And you've got people dropping lines every week.
That is, it's basically, we can TPD our liquid tomorrow if we had to drop back down to 10 mil, or they're done. The only thing is they're not notified because they don't need to be notified because it's not a nicotine product. But the nicotine that we use is TPD compliant because it's been tested, and the products that we've got in our liquid is tested to say that it's safe in accordance with what would be a TPD compliance test. That should be mandatory for any liquid, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you're not prepared to put £1,000 of flavour and put your money where your mouth is, you're probably not that confident on your liquids. Therefore,
you wouldn't. Why people are dropping?
Huh?
Juice? I think that's why people are dropping juices every week and new shit, because they don't have to test it.
Absolutely.
So in a way, short fill has sort of made it like it is, where there's so many juices on the market and there's not that, where, you know, we used to have stable lines. So you'd call it a stable line. You'd say that's the line we're sticking with. This is the brand we stick with, and this is what we promote. And so, people just have that one brand, but they release 12, 15, 20 flavors or whatever in this one brand. Now it's brand upon brand upon brand upon brand because they're not spending that 10 grand to TPD the flavors. So that's got to be a negative in the long run.
I think honestly, if they bought in, I don't think bottle size should be a thing. But I think if people are selling a product that is clearly aimed at the e-liquid market, it should be tested. Whether it's in a 10 mil or 100 mil is irrelevant, in my opinion. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, the whole reason that they wanted to put it in a 10 mil is obviously if a kid gets hold of a 10 mil bottle and takes a 10 mil bottle down, it's less dangerous than it is drinking 100 mil. We all know it's not going to harm you if you drink a 100 mil bottle compared to drinking 72 milligram nicotine. Yeah, we're still diluting into a bigger bottle, so we're still sitting around with a 3 mil bottle.
Nicotine in it.
Yeah. So there's no different really, because short fills allowed you to do that anyway. So you're sitting there either with a 100 mil bottle or a 200 mil bottle or whatever, the same amount of liquid that you would anyway. So what's the difference? I just don't see the difference. So the whole 10 mil bottle thing is just bollocks.
Look,
everything should be tested.
10 mil in a tank is just mad. When you can have 10 mil in a bottle, but you can't transfer that 10 mil into a tank, does not make any fucking sense to me whatsoever.
But what about all these bubble glasses and everything like that? That's obviously a part in it. That's something else that they've not regulated. Every tank these days are coming with extendable glasses.
I don't understand why they have, because for me personally, I don't get the whole restriction of size of tank. But the bottom line is, mate, you can have 10 mil of 20 milligram nicotine. And most people are shotting an 18 milligram into 50 mil of liquid to make 60 mil of through. That there's only the same amount of nicotine in there as an 18 milligram menthol. 50-50 made along. If you put the whole contents inside the tank, what difference does that fucking make? Doesn't. I never got it right from the start. So bottle size to me is fucking crazy. Tank size to me is crazy.
What about the milligram strength though? Do you believe that we should not ban? Obviously, you can't go over 20 milligram. Obviously, nicotine in its raw form, as we use it in the UK. Obviously, the States use it a lot higher because obviously it's not classed as poisonous. They have a different level to us. I think it's 100 milligram, 120 milligram is classed as poisonous in the States. To here, it's 72 milligram. Anything over 72 milligram is classed as you have to have a poisonous license for. Do you think that it should be regulated to 20 milligram, or do you think we should be allowed the 72? Because then it stopped a lot of DIY. I remember a time when DIY was huge in the UK, and everybody had 72 milligram. Everyone even had a 72 milligram bottle of nicotine.
The wholesale, so anyone with a website selling DIY sells 72 milligram. And it's a wholesale account, so you've got to be a wholesale customer to buy it. But it's bollocks. It's just people getting the way around the regs. For me personally, if you're going to leave a 72 milligram bottle of nicotine lying around the floor for the kids, there's just as much risk as if you're leaving a box of 20 paracetamol.
Bleach under sink.
In a pop packet, not in a fucking. You can buy them in cardboard boxes with pop packets on, which kids would quite easily pop out if they thought it was a fucking sweet. So we've got child safety caps on the bottles. So unless they bite the way through the bottle, they ain't getting the nicotine out. So maybe it should be that they're not to be stored in glass bottles. They are to be stored in PET bottles, and they've got to have a child-proof lid. I don't know. I don't know what all the answers are, mate. I think the essence of the TPD was spot on. I think they over-egged it in certain areas that it didn't need over-egging, and it wouldn't surprise me if when it's reviewed in 2020, bottle sizes change, and it's in the government's interest to change the bottle size, because the minute that they do, and they put the regulation in, more people would walk into our shop and pay the same money for a bottle of 3 milligram liquid than they would buying a short fill with a nick shot. It's just good to go. It's ready to go. It's done. It's ready. How many flavours have people bought out in short fill that are not the same as nicotine version of it?
Yeah, 100%. A lot.
And that goes from even down to loaded, man. I used to like loaded as a liquid, but the short fill don't taste the same as the old pre-TPD stuff. And they're not tested. I mean, a lot of wholesalers now are insisting on the certs. A lot of wholesalers are starting to, certainly decent wholesalers. And there's wholesalers in Birmingham that won't take on liquid without the certs, which is a good thing for me. Because actually, there's people then that are making liquids that have invested some money. It's in their interest to make a good quality liquid. They're going to push it, they're going to work it hard. They're not just going to keep going, oh, that one's shit, come on, we're dropping the range, and same shit, but we're going to call it something else. And instead of fucking melon, we're going to call it mad melon. But it's the same fucking liquid. And that's pretty much what happened with the short film market.
Do you think the self-regs are good though? Like these wholesalers are obviously self-regging out there. They're not doing anything that they don't have to do. They don't have to do it by law by getting the certs to the. So,
no, but I was in a wholesaler in Birmingham with Tasha actually a few weeks ago, and trading standards come in, not to raid them. They came in for something else, and he was talking generally, and they says we've took it upon ourselves to make sure that everything's got the cert, and he says, well, you're taking it upon yourself, but that's what's required.
It is required.
Well, it's required, but it depends how the fucking trading standards office chooses to enforce it.
Mm.
Now, what we've done over the last 6 months in our shop is, I don't think we've got anything that I couldn't get my hands on the cert for.
Mm.
We've now got certs for our batteries, so we only stock batteries from one manufacturer that supplies with the certs for the batteries. They've got the plus and minuses on them and all that malarkey, and it costs us a bit more money to do that.
They've even got to have your names on as well, aren't they now?
They got what?
They've got to have your names on, haven't they?
No, they haven't got to, but I choose to put it on there.
Cool. I didn't know if that was down to you had to have it.
No, so it's changing, mate. It's the market's changing, the industry's changing, the way that people are buying are changing. But bear in mind that social media is such a small percentage of the industry that it doesn't particularly reflect in our shop what happens on social media. It reflects more on our website sort of sales, because that's where the people are that are buying online. They've all got their go-to shops. But actually, there's lots of people on social media that only buy online. Our shop customers, by and large, I mean, I see people in our shop that I know are on Facebook, or they follow me on Facebook, or they're on our groups. Not many. Not many on the basis of the size of our customer base in the stores. Because maybe Sue comes in every week for fucking 3 Heisenberg. Probably doesn't know there's even a group on Facebook, and she's probably on Facebook being a nosy cunt looking to see what her fucking ex-husband's doing or whatever. But I bet they're not in social media groups to do with vaping.
I bet a lot of them, sort of the vapors that do go into stores and stuff like that, it's maybe not even that they're not on social media, maybe it's just not of their interest, but maybe a lot of them aren't on social media. You know, like you say, because of such an age-wide range of different ages and different people, you know, you're looking at probably now 5% of vaping is on Facebook, 95% of it is not, and that is your everyday somebody who you will still use a C5, C4, twist battery, and just 50-50 liquid. Somebody who's not particularly fussed about going on there and looking at it because they're more bothered about
I mean,
what Mavis is doing down the road.
Obviously, apart from people that live local to us and started vaping because of social media, through us on social media. The other thing is people just coming in going, oh, I've just seen your shop. I'm not even from around here. I've just seen your shop and I'll see you on Facebook. I thought I'd come in and check you out. But our day-to-day customer that comes in the shop,
yeah,
and they buy their shit from us, or they go to V Vapor down the road and buy their shit from them, or they go to fucking Grey A's and buy their shit from them, or they go to James and get their shit from them. That's just, most shops have got their customer base. You've got a core amount of people within that will flit about and chase the best price, or move with a member of staff because a member of staff's gone over to a competitor. I'll move over with them because it was their pal or whatever. You'll always get that. You'll never stop it. But by and large, what's been spoken about on Facebook doesn't affect the way our sales go in the shop.
No.
You might it'll have a small reflection on the website more so than anything.
And that's for a lot of people though. I feel like when we first started vaping and when we was researching, none of us sort of like we came to social media. It was sort of our learning curve. First thing you do when we bought stuff was, can we find it on YouTube? Can we find it on social media? Can we find this? And then we got into the niche of sort of going on and discussing vaping. But is it necessarily needed these days, would you say? Because there is such an influx of how many vape shops there is, how many people are vaping. You know what I mean? It's become very much more accepted now than it has ever been when we first started.
I mean, the point is, you see these people on social media, and they're the people that go into our shop or anyone else's shop and tell the shop owner what they want because they've seen it on Facebook. Their pal's got a Majesty kit or a Mag kit or a fucking Valerian kit or whatever it is. There's still lots of people that come into our shop as a smoker or a non-vapor that go, "Can you tell me about this?" So you know they've not been on social media, you know they've not been on YouTube. You've got other people that come in saying, "I've been looking on YouTube, but actually I want to see, I want to." You've still got them old school people, and that's why the shops were so successful 5 years ago. Is because it was such a new thing. People came in and spoke to us about vaping and asked for our advice and what product should I use, how does it work, is it dangerous, is it this, is it that, blah 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 blah. Now it's easy to go onto any platform and type in vaping, type in a certain product that your pal's got, and see a review on it and go, yep, have a Google which shops have got it. There's people that will come to our shop and they've already seen it online, and they'll say, "Oh, it's £2 cheaper online," or "Actually, you're cheaper than the online one that I've seen." You've got other people that just go and watch the review, go online, buy it, get it to the house, work it out for themselves. Probably haven't done it right. Then they're on social media saying this is fucking shit, it's leaking, but they haven't put the tank together right or whatever it might be. So there's so many different demographics that are starting to vape or do vape. There's always a place for shops. There's always going to be a place for online. There's always going to be a place for social media. But social media is not the be all and end all of this industry. Boy, our fucking country, more mate. It's a tip of the iceberg.
100%. Do you feel, because I always think going back to sort of going into a shop and speaking to somebody into a shop, you always took what the person in the shop as gospel because they knew what they were talking about because it was so niche. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about like when we first, you know, you told me you got your first vape from Costco. I got my first vape from a shack that sold learner plates and sold shit for fucking endos and all sorts. It was literally just a shack. That's all it was, and that's where I got my first vape from. There wasn't anybody there that really could explain to me. I thought mixing juice were putting strawberry in with fucking watermelon. That's what I thought mixing juice was. I have no idea about all the chemicals and everything that you put into it and everything like that, components that went into it. I thought that was mixing juice. But going into a shop and getting that advice and listening to somebody behind that counter, you always took that as gospel. I believe personally on a social media aspect of it that isn't there anymore. Yes, it's still there for that 95% of people who go into shops and know, well, predominantly a lot of people who go into a shop anyway know what they want anyway. You get your odd few that'll go into.
You know what? The difference between a good retailer and a bad retailer is the amount of people that we sway away from the kit that they came in to buy is still quite big. Because they come in wanting the sub-home kit, and if I'm in the shop and me personally dealing with that sale, I'll break it down every time to, are you smoking? Yes. Do you want to stop smoking? Yes. You don't need that kit.
Yeah, and it's down to the person who's telling
myself, mate, I'm shotting out £25 kits instead of fucking £60 kits, plus batteries, plus chargers, plus fucking bottles of juice that they're going to go through way more than the Iron Maiden lung kit. But I still believe that's our responsibility to say to somebody, what do you want this kit to do? And some people will say, I don't smoke. I literally just want to blow clouds. I've been using my pals. I love the flavors. Not a problem. Get the cheapest sub-home kit we've got. And just start there and see how you get on.
But no, would you say because 95% of failures to cross over from smoking to vaping is usually by the fact is that Dave, who's at work, says you need to buy this kit to James. I've got this vape. This is what I've got. This is how I use it. This is what you need to buy. They go online, purchase the vape, they get it there, and they go, fucking hell, vaping shit. Don't want nothing to do with it. I'm off back to fags. 95% of that is because the person who they've been told by, who is just a general vapor who's probably been told that information from somebody else anyway, are getting the wrong information. So they're not going and doing the research online. They're not going into a shop and questioning what do I need to do. They're literally banging online or going into a shop. Because I'll be honest, when you see somebody coming into a shop and you feel like they know what they're talking about, and they're saying, I want a smart mag kit, this juice, that juice, batteries, you instantly think these people know what they're on about. They know what they're on about, but you don't get down to the nitty gritty and say like, are you actually still smoking? Are you doing this? Because there's that much information out there. They are using the lingo, they look like they know.
My question is to every customer that I service. Obviously, if they're walking with a pen and they're vaping on a T18 or an Ego AO pen or whatever, if they're coming with nothing and ask for a sub-ohm kit and or a mod and a free max tank and some liquid and some batteries and a charger, for me that rings out that they're starting off. Or they're out of town and they've lost the mod, they've forgot to pack the batteries and the fucking charger and the liquid. I will always say to them, "Oh, you already vaping, mate?" Straight away. Or what you already use, mate? What kit are you using? And I'll say, "Oh, none. It's my first one." Whoa. And they'll say, "Oh, do you smoke?" Yeah, about 40 a day, but I need to come off them. Why are you buying that kit? My pal's got it. That's the normal way that the conversation will go. And I'll always say to them, "Do you realise there's two different ways of vaping, mouth to lung and lung inhaling?" No. When you smoke a fag, you put it into your mouth, then you inhale it like this. I've always got that in my hand, so I'll show them. So, or I've got this.
Yeah.
And I'll say, yeah, the one with the clouds, because that's the one my pal's got. Yeah, well, that doesn't replicate the sense of smoking for most people. And even though your pal's telling you that that's what he uses, he probably won't tell you he's still smoking because they're just people won't do it. They want people to think they've succeeded in something. So actually, there's not many people that will say, like even Dan Rickard is a perfect example where he says, I was dual using, then I started smoking more than I was vaping. I come away from my group because I didn't feel that I was in a place to advise vape stuff to someone who was predominantly smoking. Then he got his head back around it and he got back into it and he's still dual using. To me, Dan's well versed in telling someone about the pros and cons of using a mouth to lung over a sub-ohm kit, even though he still smokes cigarettes.
Yeah.
I said on here a few weeks ago, I have an occasional cigarette, and I've got no qualms about saying that. It's not an issue to me to say that. It used to be before, because I was like, oh God, if I'm having the occasional fag, then I'm not a fucking dedicated vapor. But the point is, mate, from 60 fags a day, so we're at fucking 420 fags a week. If I smoke 10 cigarettes in a week, which is less than 2 a day, I ain't got an issue with that personally. And it's still hugely cheap. And then we went through this whole argument of, oh, fucking hell, vaping's so expensive. You chose to go down the route of hobby vaping. You chose to go down the route of using 0.07 builds on your single mech. You chose to go down the route of using 60 mil of liquid a day.
Yeah.
And you're still smoking cigarettes. And I know you are because I've fucking seen you, mad geezer.
Melt you.
Do you know what I mean? So on that basis, consider it a hobby, because I did all them thousands of pounds I spent on Met Mods, mate. Not once did I ever think, fuck me, this is more than smoking, because that is what I needed to stop me smoking. And I've said it many times, apart from when I've dropped one of these devices, I've never ever in 6 years have I had a mod fail on me. I've never ever had one mod just stop working on me because it was broke. And I think if Tasha's honest, Tasha will drop mods like they're fucking tennis balls. And they'll break, and she'll have hexohms, and she'll pull the batteries out and rip the fucking battery connections off them.
No, I've never done that.
But I mean, even like I can't think of a mod that Tasha's had or I've had, and we're both quite hard with them. You know what I mean? I don't treat my mod with kid gloves, but that says, mate, I don't treat anything in my life with kid gloves. I've got a Mac in front of me that's got scratches on it because it gets shoved in a drawer or on a cupboard on top of other Macs, and that's just. I mean, I'm just being honest. We're not like them people that put it away and put it back in the Mac box in the fucking velvet bag. The only thing that happens to is the buttons. Put back in a velvet fucking bag. But I mean, the point I'm trying to make is, I honestly cannot remember in all my time of vaping having used, I would say, hundreds of devices, that I've ever had one device that's failed me, unless I've blatantly fucked it myself.
Yeah, people have been hardy, but then that goes back to when we were saying about people having the responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault that a mod's broken. it's never their responsibility.
It's become a social media mentality for like most people that come into our shop. Most people, we always get some arseholes that will come in and try and make out that, oh, this has just fell apart in my hand. But genuinely, most people come into the shop and go, fucking hell, mate, I've dropped my mod and it ain't working right. I would rather give them a new mod at cost and say, you know what, mate, just treat it like you would your iPhone. Look after it and then it'll see you good. I'd rather look after them than the bloke who comes in going, I bought this yesterday and it's just fucking all fell apart on me. And I'm like, mate, it's dented. You drop the mod and they're trying to tell you that you haven't. And then we've had people in the shop, mate, where the kids have going, oh, that's when you dropped it the other day, Dad, and he's trying to clip them around the fucking head and shut them up. And I'm like, just be honest.
Yeah.
And the other thing that rankles me badly is the amount of knobheads that I see saying smock shit. Smock is shit. We still outsell, Smock outsells any product in our shop, I would say 10 to 2, at least 10 to 2 on sub-home devices. And on that basis, yes, we get more Smock products back, but we're selling a lot more of them. Percentage-wise, mate, it's no more than any other kit. That's my experience of Smock. But people buy a Smock, they take it to work, it falls out of the pocket, it breaks, and they go, fucking Smock shit. They buy an iPhone for $1,000, drop it on the floor, break it, go and spend £300 on a new glass and go, fucking hell, man, I dropped my fucking iPhone, I'm gutted. I'm like, why is it any different, you mad cunt? I don't
Or deal with their iPhone with a crack in it.
I don't get that mentality. I've never got that mentality. But I see people on social media saying, you know, when they start quoting the fucking Consumer Rights Act, and I feel like putting my hand inside my Mac screen and choking some cunt saying, there's nothing wrong with it, he just doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And the same as when you go and buy a pair of earrings, cannot take them back.
That's what I've always got. It's like a vape is like underpants. Once you put it in your fucking gob.
To people that come in and say, no, I've got the right to return it if I don't like it. You fucking haven't, you rat. Right? The same as if you go to Curry's and buy a camera, you cannot take the camera back. You can't take it back for a refund. You can only exchange it for faulty.
Mm.
If you buy a computer, you cannot take it back because you've decided you don't like this computer. You want a fucking red one.
It's true.
Well, I mean, I see these threads, mate, and I don't comment on them because I don't even know how you tell someone they're a cunt without telling them they're a cunt. So I'd just rather just walk away. But actually, I see that whole attitude of, you know what, just take it back to the shop, man. Put some pressure on. Tell them you're going to get trading standards onto them. I've had it, mate, and I'm like, get trading standards in. Get trading standards in and do what you've got to do. We have it with online orders where they've said, actually, can I return this? And we'll say, yeah, not a problem. Can you sort the postage out? No, mate, you fucking want to send it back. And just to let you know, when it comes back, it needs to be in the same condition it was when it went out. So if the seal's broke on the packet, you're not getting your refund and you won't get the product back until you pay for the second lot of postage to send it back to you. So just be mindful of that.
Do you think it's because people are so accessible, like yourself, who runs a company and the shops? Do you think it's because they don't do that because they're going to Curry's? You can't go to the fucking owner of Curry's and go to his face and say, listen, sort this shit out. Because people are so accessible.
You can't message Richard Branson on Facebook and go, your trains are fucking shit, mate.
You know what I mean?
I want a refund for my train ticket. Now, I haven't got an issue with someone, mate. And I do still get a huge amount of messages saying, all right, mate, I've bought this. Now, if it's just a straightforward, I've bought this and it's broke, I'll always say, message the Facebook page, tell them you spoke to me, they'll sort it out, not a problem. If it's just that, all right, mate, I've got an endless mod and it's not firing, and just send me a picture of your switch. Oh, you've got your dowry wound out too much, mate. That's why your switch ain't connecting, but actually the throw's not. So I'll try and help them. You know what I mean? I never ever just say to people, sorry, I don't speak to people anymore because I'm a big boss and it's not more. That's not how I operate. But then I get other people who mesh me going, all right, mate, I bought this the other day and I've vented a battery and did it. And I'm like, and what's your point, mate? And they're like, yeah, well, the mod's fucked. And I'm like, okay, well, we do replacement hybrid and we do replacement this and we do replacement that. They're all available on the website. What? So I've got to buy it? Yeah, you have, mate. You vented your fucking battery. I never vented your battery. Yeah, well, my battery's fucked as well. Well, we sell batteries as well, mate. Knock yourself out and get yourself a bundle of shit off the website. But other people will mess you and go, Paul, I'm gutted, man. I've bought the mod and I've done this and it's fucked. I'll sit and help them, man, and I'll say, you know what? Tell me what you need, and I'll do that for 20 quid posted instead of fucking 35 quid or whatever it is. And then I'll send a message through to the shop myself, send this out to this bloke. It's paid, it's done, it's dusted. I can't be dealing with arseholes who are trying to blag something for fuck all.
Yeah. And it is that mentality of what people are like.
Mate, it's a social media mentality of all these group pack people going, you know what, fuck 'em, man, take it back. Well, yeah, and look, mate, us even down to the fucking dirty mods, right? We've probably had 25 back with Fox stack sections. I am absolutely convinced them mods have been dropped. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 aluminium sets. One that was quad stacked, one that was triple stacked, that are now 2 triple stacks. I've got my original 001, and I had number 69 in the dirty as well.
And you've got the trip that someone fucking dropped.
Someone dropped the triple stacked, and exactly what happens to them threads happened to my mod. You got to appreciate this fucking thing's got 326 650 in it. It's aluminium. You drop it, it's gonna fucking break. But then to be spouting all over social media, going, "Oh yeah, the threads on Endless are fucking shit." I see that Maria, you know Maria Sona.
Yeah,
she ain't got an issue with her mod. She knows how to use a fucking gear. She's using aluminium stacked. She's had it triple stacked. She's had it 4 stacked. She ain't got a fucking issue with the threads. And all I know, she could fuck if any cunt could over tighten a thread, she could. You know what I mean? She's never once messaged me and said, "Oh mate, my threads are fucked on my deck," because she ain't using a fucking door hanging screwdriver to fucking tighten up a post. And it is just about someone saying, "Right, I've got this post here that's this big. I've got the decking man this big. The blue screwdriver that comes with our fucking sets is big enough to put a build in an RDA. Even the Coil Master ones are too much if you go ham on them, because you can get a decent grip on the fucking thing."
Yeah.
And it's just about having a little bit of common sense. And actually, we've had a few people message me and go, "Mate, I've dropped the fucking dirty, man. My threads are fucked. How much is a stack?" They're normally 70 quid. Send us 35 quid and I'll send you one out. When I've got the person go, "Mate, I've had this fucking dirty and I've literally just used it and it's fucked," and they send me a picture and I can see a dink in the top tube. And I'm like, "Mate, I think it's been dropped," and you probably thought it's been dropped. I've just said to him, I'm not changing it. And then I'm a cunt on social media. If I'm a cunt, I'm a cunt. There's lots and lots and lots of people out there that know I've changed their shit without a quibble. A bloke's message tonight, in fact, Tasha messaged me and said there's a bloke on the page got an issue with the deck. I ain't even said to tell him to send the deck back. Get his address, just send him a replacement deck out. So it's not about me just going, "Oh yeah, our products never break, I'm not changing it." Sometimes I know someone's fucking broke it, but they're trying to be half fucking civil with me. And I'll be like, "You know what, I'll send you one out, mate. How much I'll pay the post. You know what, don't worry about the post. If it's fucked, I'll sort it." When someone's trying to blatantly mug me off, mate, you can go fuck yourself. I'm not having it.
Yeah, exactly. There's only so much you can do, isn't there?
We had one wholesale customer, mate, where one customer went through 5 hybrids on a dirty mod. One customer, in the end, I'm saying, "Listen, I know we haven't got an issue with hybrids. We probably have sold less than 10 dirty hybrids. And some of them is where they've had it built and they haven't used it, and the hybrid stuck to the bottom of the RDA after fucking 3 months, and they've had to mangle it to get it off the RDA. That's not my fault. That's just a fuck up on their behalf and not cleaning the mud before they put it away in the cupboard." For one bloke to go through 5 dirty RDA hybrids, my man's got an issue with his fucking strength. Now, do you know what I mean? And actually, you got to get to a point where I have to say, "Listen, I'll sell you as many hybrids as you want, but they're $13.99 because I have to buy these fucking things." So I'm not dishing them out to morons who haven't got the fucking. And again, the other thing is, I always screw my RDA and I drop my battery and I screw my switch. And if it's not right, I take my switch back out or adjust my dial ring. I've seen people cracking a stack dirty from the center to change batteries. And then they've cracked it. That might have moved the dial ring. Oh, it's got to screw back up. Oh, fucking hell, bam, my threads are gone. What do you expect? You put a torque wrench with a fucking 30-foot bar on a wheel, you'll snap a wheel nut on a car. You won't do it with a normal fucking handle.
Exactly.
It's just horses for courses. And I'm saying if people are stray up, mate, I'll try and help them. If they try and take me for a cunt, I don't give a fuck how much you badmouth me on social media, fill your boots and knock yourself out. Give it your best shot. And 9 times out of 10, mate, when someone's slating us for being arseholes, there's 10 to 1 people saying, actually, I had an issue with mine and they've changed it straight away. I had an issue with mine, it's been sorted. I got sent the wrong colour. They sent it. I sent it back. They've covered my post. They've got the new colour out to me. We had an issue recently with a customer that had a silver plating mod, and on the batch 3 cleaners, we stopped silver plating the threads. So actually, the inside of the tube isn't silver plated; it's just externally silver plated. And on some of them, where they'd silver plated them together, there's just basically crap that's caused from the electrolysis process of the plating. The threads hadn't been cleaned. And this is our fuck up here because we should have cleaned the threads. China should have cleaned them to start off with. We should be catching what they don't catch. He sent out a set. He sent a message saying, is this right? And straight away, no, it's not right, actually. They should be clean. Now, my honest reply to them is, if you give it a clean, it's perfectly fine, mate. However, if you don't want to, send it back and I'll get one as it should be sent out to you. Not a problem. I'll send it back. It's my first authentic mech. And I says, really sorry for the inconvenience. Send it back. We'll send you the postage money, send it back to us, not a problem. Fuck me if we didn't send another kit out exactly the same. And my man's fucking screwy, and rightly so. And I've said to him, in fact, we was out for the day. Tasha was talking to him, and I was sort of talking to Tasha, and Tasha was talking to me, and we constructed a reply, which was, can't apologise enough. We look like absolute cunts. We will sort out the member of staff that sent it out. We will fully refund you for the product. We will refund you for the postage, and we will still send you a full kit out for free as a way of apology, because this should not happen twice. Mate, my man went in on me. That's not good enough. And I was like, what else do you want me to do? Fucking sign over some of the shop coupons. I'm not sending it back until you've sent me out a replacement. I said, look, it doesn't work like that. Send me the goods back. When we receive the goods, I'll refund you the postage, and I will refund you all of your item, and we will send you another one. No, you send me another mod out now. And I was like, no, I'm going to trading standards. I said, knock your fucking self out. I'm putting in a PayPal dispute. Knock yourself out. PayPal will tell you to refund the product at your cost. They'll tell you to return it to me at your cost. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. We've fucked up. We've dropped a bollock. Send it back to me. I'll refund you for fucking everything. And I will personally make sure one is cleaned, and we will get you a kit out free of charge. And that's what we've done. Now, I can't do any more than that. That is me. And actually, the member of staff got fucking abused. And I said to him, next time this happens, you will pay for this replacement mod, because I'm not going to not send it to the customer. It's not fair for us to let down a customer, not once, but fucking twice. And the only way for me to come out of that, Tom, with any sort of resolve is to say, well, and we've done it a few times. We've sent out the wrong orders to customers where they're messaging going, mate, we had it with the auctions recently. Someone got someone got £100 mystery box that shouldn't have got one. And they'll message and say, I've got this. There's times where I've says, keep it, mate. And they're like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, we shouldn't have fucked up. It's our fuck up. You keep it and enjoy it. Well done. Congratulations. Then I've got to send another cunt a £100 mystery box out because they ain't got their shit. Yeah. Now, I haven't got an issue doing that. I have got an issue doing it. It fucking does my head in. It does my head in that the staff haven't done it right. And at the end of the day, them 10 days for us was, you know yourself, it was manic for us. We were taking orders fucking throughout the night, all day. People meshing the page, people phoning the fucking shop. And then people are going, all right, mate, I ordered this yesterday and it hasn't arrived. Can you tell me if there's a problem? Yeah, there is, mate. We're taking fucking 250 orders a fucking day. Just bear with us and we'll get it sorted. Royal Mail are obviously on a go slow because we're not the only people in the country doing Black Friday. So there's all these compounded issues. Then I've got people messaging me saying, all right, I bought a 300ml liquid bundle and I've only got 250ml. And I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. I'll get someone to post the nick shots out. No, I've got the nick shots. Fucking count then, you thick cunt, right? Add 250ml to 50ml. You've got 300ml of liquid. Oh, no, I thought you meant I'd get 300ml of liquid. Well, I can swap the nick shots for another bottle of liquid if you like, you prick. You know what I mean? And it's like, But I mean, this is what I'm thinking in my head. This is not what I'm saying to him. I'm like, no, obviously, if you had your nick shot, you got 60 mil, you got 5 bottles, that's 300 mil. Oh yeah, all right then. And I'm like, then I got other people going, all right, in the mystery bundle. I said I didn't want dessert liquids. Look, well, you shouldn't have bought the mystery bundle then, should you? No, I mean, honestly, but how do you say that without sounding like a cunt?
It's somebody I've seen. I saw at least 3 posts, and I posted on one of them. And someone said, "What do you get in the mystery box?" And I just coming back saying, "It's not a mystery if you fucking know what's."
Oh, yeah, I had people message me going, right, mate, can I have a mystery box? And can you put this and this and this in it and that? And I'm like, listen, if you want to do a shop,
Come on,
the fucking website and fill your basket. Oh, you get the mystery box. The mystery boxes were good value for money. But it is us saying, right, we've got a lot of that left, we've got a lot of that left, we've got a lot of that left. We'll give people a bargain here to take £100 on the chin. They had way more than 100. No one could ever post one of our mystery boxes and say, this weren't good value for money.
no, nearly 200 quid in some boxes. Nearly 200 quid in some boxes.
People were getting at least a full cleaner set up on a £50 box. That in its own is 95 quid. Plus, they were getting 300 ml of liquid. 300 ml of liquid could retail for as much as fucking 60 quid. Plus the nick shots. Plus some wire. Plus some cotton. They were all getting good value for money on their boxes.
100%.
So on that basis, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. I had one bloke say to me, he ordered just through the live feed, he messaged me, said, I'll take £100 mystery box. And then I messaged him, say, hi mate, do you still want the box? He said, I've messaged the page, which is why I hadn't seen his message. And I was like, right, do me a favour, send it all through to me personally. I'm making the list, I'll get it all sorted. And then he was like, actually, I'll have another £200 boxes as well. Mate, he had a fucking parcel for 300 quid. And he says, I've got one for me, one for my brother-in-law, one for my brother for Christmas. And then he said to me, can you put them in all separate boxes so we know which one's which? And I says, there, it's just gone out as one big fucking bundle. Just pick the best shit yourself. Part it whatever way you want. But actually, there's more than enough shit there to split 3 ways. That's what I'm saying. Some of these things, like we're doing £100 mystery box, and some of them are £15 postage.
Fucking hell.
And they've got 200 quid's worth of shit in them. And then they'll say, oh, God, I've got dessert liquids. I asked specifically not for dessert liquids.
In a fucking mystery box.
Don't fucking buy a mystery box.
Just if anybody's out there who's watching now and wants a mystery box and don't want dessert, don't order a mystery box. But there is mystery boxes on the website still. So if you want a mystery box for Christmas, get it ordered now because you want it before the 25th. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, mate, we even up the mystery boxes. We've done just liquid mystery boxes. We've done some clone mystery boxes, clone and liquid, some authentic and liquid, because people want different stuff. All I can say is, I can't guarantee you're going to like what's in there, but you're getting good value for money.
100%.
And if you start inboxing me going, right, mate, I've ordered a mystery box. Could you make sure I get 2 Empress Emmys and fucking this, that, and the other? I'm like, no, you know, stop being a dickhead. Theresa May's still Prime Minister. The fucking
Have we lost Paul? No. Dead bast. Why have we lost Paul? Paul is still there. No. If anyone in chat can say if Paul's still here or not, let us know. I think Paul's frozen. I hope it's not me. Just let me know in the chat, please. We're just waiting on chat. No, he's gone. Ah, well, he's gone. If he's gone, I'll have to. I'm going to wait for him for a couple of minutes. But we were looking to do obviously the status of the week. As we know, Paul had a great statuses yesterday. So we're going to have to do status of the week. I hope he comes back. We'll give him a minute or not. So, guys, how have you liked the show this week? I know not many of you have commented to Ask the Boys this week. Please let me know in PM or on a status. if you obviously want us to discuss anything, I do get a few messages from a couple of you saying, look at this, Tom, what do you think? Talk about it on the show. So if you do want to talk about it, let me know. I love getting your input on stuff. If there's anything you guys want us to discuss, any other things that you want us to do, yeah, please let us know. Please let me know. I obviously write the show out through the week, get all this stuff we've got. Paul's back, fingers crossed. Yes, you're back. Right, well, we'll do status of the week. I spoke to Tasha. I put a status out. Nobody told me which one was your best status, and I'm not going to go through 100 fucking statuses from this week. But I've got one status that I thought was the best, and it's not even a status. I'm sorry, but it's not even a status. You posted it yesterday at 11 o'clock last night, and it is with a little bit of luck, you can make it true. I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, man! I saw that, and I was fucking creasing. That was the best thing you put up yesterday. I was fucking cracking up at that. I saw it. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yes! I was going to send you in a message, but I thought, nah, do you know what? I'm saving it for tomorrow. That is the fucking... Who did you rub that off? Who did you rub it off?
Just come up in my newsfeed, I think. I don't know.
That is fucking brilliant. That is one of the best things you posted. It proper reminisced with me, and I loved it. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through today.
I was singing it last night after I posted.
Oh, I thought it was absolutely...
There was someone called Alan with the rinsing sound. But...
Oh my god! Right. Well, we're out of here. As I say, the 19th falls free next week. We're going to be doing a show. And then obviously the 26th is going to be the next Wednesday after that. So we won't be doing a show then. I'm sure Tasha will not want us doing a show. I don't know. Abby won't want us doing a show. So
I'm coming for Boxing Day that Paul doesn't even know about.
Right.
There we go. No show 26th.
Nah, mate, I reckon we should be live at 3 o'clock on Christmas Day. King's Speech, man. Fuck the Queen. I'm joking.
Yeah, so we're doing a show next week. I've got a little bit of a show next week planned, which should be fun. I'm going to do sort of maybe a little award show for 2018. So we're going to do that next week. I'll have a word with Paul and we'll do that. But thank you so much, everybody who joined us this week. We did have some fun. Paul did have a little bit of Paul's wisdom, Paul's rants, as we like. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. And as I said before when Paul left, if you have got any news or anything you want us to discuss, drop me a message and we can go over it, because it's always nice to get your guys' opinions on shit. So take it easy. Thank you for joining us.
If you've got things that you want to discuss specifically about us or product, I mean, to be fair, I haven't even got YouTube open now because my computer's went funky, so I shut down all my windows. But I'm not flicking backwards and forwards between. I'm not very good at this whole being live thing. So I've got Hangouts open. I'm on there talking, and then when I do flick through a message, I'll see people saying, "Have you got an RTA coming out?" But we're obviously talking about something. Anything you want to talk about specific, just message Tom. And if it's not discussed next week, we're always looking for content. If you've got something you want to come on the show about, we'll have guests on. I ain't got an issue with having people on here. What I want to try and do is, in the new year, is once a month, is just have a random show that's all about news, nothing, just have a lot, whether it's reminiscing, whether it's just having banter, whether it's having random people on, whatever, and just have a random one once a month that is just a random 2 hours of fucking about and having a joke.
Which one we love doing anyway, don't we? Usually end up on the rant anyway.
I always enjoy them shows more than I do ones where we're going, oh my God, have you seen what's happening in a state? They're cancelled flavours. I don't give a fuck, mate. No, I do care, really. Obviously, I'm very...
Yeah, so anybody who wants to come on, because we can host a few people on here. We can host up to 10 people in the chat, but that'd be absolutely fucking mental. So I don't think we're going to do that at any point, because nobody will get a fucking word in edgeways.
What game could we play with 10 people? You know what we could do? We could have a live game of fucking...
Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah. I'd love the live game of Cards Against Humanity.
I'm gonna. There is a website, and I know there is a website, and we probably could be able to. I could screen share it and share it to, but there is a few naughty games, not stuff we can play, and you can do guessing games and stuff like that that we can stream. So we'll think of something like that, and we'll get a lot of people in. We'll have sort of maybe a once a month, like a games night or something like that, where we all do like get Cards Against Humanity, because I know Cards Against Humanity is actually online, so you can play it online. So if anybody's interested in sort of coming on and having a little games night, maybe once a month or whatever, we'll do that. I think that would be pretty cool. But as I say, it's the end of the show. Thank you so much, guys. Really enjoy that you join us every week. And you are, obviously, there is a lot of people that are new. There's a lot of people that's loyal, that come back every week, regardless of whatever. We do really appreciate that you do spend 2 hours with us, maybe always more than 2 hours every Wednesday. So, guys, thank you so very much. We'll see you next week, and peace.